call. In midair, Lucifer vibrated the devil's wings, causing violent winds to fly rapidly. He glanced behind him and saw a golden light and a cold air approaching quickly. Still want to keep me? I want to see how strong two generals can be together. Lucifer smiled faintly and raised his hand gently. Meteor volcano. As soon as he finished speaking, hundreds of volcanic bombs burning with flames fell from the sky. Of course, such an attack would be useless against Akiji and Kizaru, but Mariajoya could not handle such a large-scale attack. The enemy must be saved if he attacks. In order to block Lucifer's attack, Akiji and Kizaru had to spare one of them. Sure enough, Akiji took action. Ice Age. The extreme cold air broke out and froze the volcanic bombs. Qingji shouted, "You go after him. Leave this place to me." Kizaru was stunned, thinking that 10,000 grass and mud horses were galloping past. Should I chase him? I would chase him with my head. What would happen if I caught up with him? Should I go and die? Kizaru was very depressed. He was at his peak last time. He was beaten half to death by Lucifer, and now his injuries have just improved. How could he be Lucifer's opponent? Lucifer also heard the sound of the Aoki pheasant and directly slowed down his flying speed, waiting for Kizaru to deliver the goods. Kizaru was obviously aware of this and slowed down. Lucifer and Kizaru's eyes met in midair, and both of them saw what the other was thinking. Lucifer, come here. Kizaru, run quickly. I won't chase you anymore. If you want to leave, just leave quickly. Lucifer, don't. I won't run away. I will wait for you here. If you catch me, you will have made a great contribution. You can get a promotion, a salary increase, and a bonus. Kizaru, haha, I thank you and your family. The two of them had a fierce exchange of words in silence. Suddenly, a black shadow appeared between them. Yellow Monkey, go to hell. As soon as the black shadow appeared, he launched a fierce attack on Kizaru. The sudden change made the scene a little embarrassing, but it solved Kizaru's problem. He was blocked by others, so he had no time to pursue Lucifer. This reinforcement came just in time. Kizaru started to release water and had a fierce battle with this strong man who suddenly appeared. Lucifer saw clearly the person who came. He was a man over 3 meters tall, but extremely thin and only skin and bones. His breath was very weak, but his strength should not be underestimated. He actually knocked Kizaru away with one punch. Although it did not hurt Kizaru, it was enough to prove his strength. Oh, it's Jack. You're not dead yet. Kizaru curled his lips and looked at the visitor. A trace of surprise flashed across his face. Humph, you yellow monkey is not dead, but I will not die. The man roared, kicked his legs suddenly, and a vacuum slash shot out of the air. The slash flew past and cut 3 palaces in half. Lanjia? This guy is not weak. Lucifer was suspended in the sky, looking at the thin man fighting with Kizaru, and he became interested. Although Kizaru is now in a state of lethargy, the man's combat power can still be fully demonstrated. This Jack who suddenly appeared is not only proficient in Marine 6 Shiki, Knowledge Color and Armed Color Hockey are not weak at all. Although he is not at his peak at the moment, he is still comparable to the Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters. And judging from the situation, he and Kizaru are old acquaintances. Jack, you are no match for me. After Kizaru dodged an attack from Jack, he teleported to his side and kicked him away. Jack spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backwards, smashing a building into pieces. After this heavy blow, Jack's breath became stronger. Weak. Kizaru also didn't expect that he would injure this rescue with just a light kick. He overestimated Jack's state at this time. He was already covered with bruises, so how could he withstand his light-speed kick? No, it was too harsh. Kizaru's face changed. If Jack is dealt with, he will have to face the monster Lucifer. Sure enough, Lucifer from the sky took action. The sky was accompanied by rapid sonic booms and scorching temperatures and hundreds of flames. The volcanic bomb crashed down. 8-foot Magatama. Kizaru flew high into the sky and fired with 2 fingers. Countless flash bombs burst out of the air, shattering the volcanic bombs in the sky. Phew! Suddenly, a black shadow appeared behind Kizaru and kicked Kizaru in the head. "It's Lucifer." "Kizaru, long time no see. What's wrong with bullying the wounded? If you have the ability, fight me." Lucifer's voice rang in Kizaru's ears. Before Kizaru had time to react, his head hurt and his whole body shot out involuntarily. At this moment, Kizaru's brain went blank and buzzed. "It felt like my head was going to explode." Lucifer's attack just now used armed color hockey to destroy the inside and also entangled the Overlord color hockey. Although most of the hockey was blocked by Kizaru's armed color hockey defense, some of it was blocked by Kizaru's defense. He elementally avoided it, but he still had the domineering energy to penetrate into Kizaru's head. The domineering energy exploded in the brain, and the severe pain almost made Kizaru lose consciousness. Phew! A golden light flashed across the sky, like a falling meteor, penetrating through a building behind the palace. It shot into the ground. Then the golden light exploded, and a huge fireball rose. In the dark night, such a huge fireball was very eye-catching and could be clearly seen hundreds of miles away. Lucifer was suspended in the sky and glanced at the exploding fireball. He glanced at the green pheasant that was approaching rapidly, raised his hand and grabbed it. Wanxiangta, Jack, who was lying on the ground panting, was caught in Lucifer's hand. "This guy has some strength. It would be a pity to die here." Lucifer reached out and threw Jack towards the sky behind him. Under Lucifer's control, Jack lay on a suspended boulder, very safe. Ice Cube, Violent Pheasant Mouth. At this moment, Aoki Pheasant appeared in midair, waved his palm, and shot a giant frozen bird towards Lucifer. Everything along the way was frozen, and a layer of frost condensed. "Let's go back." Lucifer hooked his finger, and the frozen bird that flew halfway immediately changed its direction and returned to the original path. Alalalala. The corner of Qingji's mouth twitched, and the next moment he was hit by his own frozen bird, which exploded into ice fragments. Whoop! Bang! A golden light shot out from the ruins, and Kizaru emerged from the trap, bleeding from the corner of his mouth. Then the ice on the ground, the fragments condensed, and the blue pheasant returned to its original shape. Lucifer flapped his devil wings and floated in the sky, looking down at the two of them with a faint smile. "Two admirals teamed up to catch me. They really think highly of me. Lucifer, you have gone too far this time. Just let it go." The cold air in Qingji's hand condensed, forming 4 ice spears. With a whoosh, the 4 ice spears shot out and hit Lucifer in the sky. Bang! The ice mist dissipated, and Lucifer was still suspended in the same place. Unscathed. "The ice spear has been blocked by the vacuum wall. Such tricks are useless to me. If you want to catch me, you have to use your real skills." Meteor volcano. Lucifer raised his hand and pointed at the sky, and hundreds of flaming volcanic bombs suddenly appeared in the dark night and crashed down. Before the volcanic bombs landed, the cold air created by Qing Pheasant had already been dissipated. If Sakaski saw this scene, he really wouldn't know what to say. Qing Pheasant was a little helpless. The next moment he flew up and exploded with extremely cold air and freezing flame volcanic bombs. However, the next moment, Lucifer appeared behind Qing Pheasant. "You are careless, Qing Pheasant. The enemy must be rescued." Faced with the attack of the meteor volcano, Qingji must protect the Holy Land. At this time, he will reveal his flaws. Boom! The dark fist suddenly hit Qingji's back, but the fist hit before Akiji's body. His body had already been twisted. Lucifer's punch covered both the armed color hockey and the Overlord color hockey. The Overlord color hockey entanglement attack will not cause direct contact when it hits the enemy. A short distance can cause huge damage. Bang! The green pheasant turned into a stream of light and was blown away. It passed through 7 or 8 palaces along the way, slid on the ground for hundreds of meters, and finally smashed a palace into pieces. Lucifer punched it. The green pheasant flew thousands of meters. 8-foot Magatama. At this moment, Kizaru's flash bombs came, densely shining in the sky, illuminating the night as bright as day. "Disappear." Lucifer's voice fell. Countless flash bombs instantly dimmed and disappeared, and the world turned back to darkness again. "What?" Kizara's expression changed. The last time he used the 8-foot Magatama, only half of it was eliminated by Lucifer. Unexpectedly, it was all eliminated this time. All things are attracted by heaven. Lucifer grabbed Kizaru with his big hand, locked it directly, and pulled him back. Bang! Kizara's body exploded into countless golden lights, thereby breaking away from the shackles of gravity. As of now, Kizaru does not dare to fight Lucifer in close combat, then he was looking for abuse. However, at the moment when the golden light condensed on his body, a dark steel spear penetrated the golden light at this moment. Puff! Blood burst out from the golden light, and Kizaru regained his physical form, staggered, and half knelt on the ground. A big tear appeared on his chest, and blood trickled down. Lucifer! Kizaru's face was gloomy, and he vomited blood. He had just recovered from a serious injury, and his strength had not yet returned to its peak. Now he was seriously injured again, which can be said to be an added injury. Ice Age. At this moment, Akiji finally arrived. Extreme cold air broke out from a distance, freezing half of Mariajoya in an instant. The cold air rose into the sky, trying to freeze Lucifer. Wall of vacuum. Lucifer raised his hand and pressed it down, and the wall of vacuum formed, blocking out all the cold air. The angry dragon roars. Lucifer punched out a roaring fire dragon again, melting all the surrounding ice. Sure enough, it's useless. Aoji appeared next to Kizaru with a solemn expression. After a battle, Aoki finally understood how powerful the Kamonriai fruit is. The vacuum wall that can defend against all attacks, the ability to use Akainu's magma power, and Kizaru his flash power can also use fire to fight against his ice and gravity. In addition, Lucifer's own combat power cannot be underestimated. The three-color domineering force is extremely strong. He just got punched by Lucifer and felt his kidneys were almost exploded. He felt the extremely strong weapon color and Overlord color haki from Lucifer's fist. Lucifer not only awakened the Overlord color haki, but also learned the technique of using entanglement. Qing Pheasant felt that he is not a newcomer, but the four emperors of the new world. Lucifer's various abilities and domineering abilities can only be mastered by the four emperors. This is a true four emperors level combat power. Akiji can't figure it out. Lucifer is how to become so powerful. The word spirit fruit can be obtained through luck. The fact that Lucifer can develop it so well proves that he has talent. But domineering can only be mastered through years of practice. Lucifer has only been out for half a year, but he can learn it being domineering, and using it freely is considered a genius. It is impossible to reach such a state. Is it possible that this guy was born with innate haki? Qingji can only think of this possibility. Haki is the innate power of human beings, but it is hidden deep in the body. Many people cannot use it in their lives. Only by practicing hard can they awaken and master it. But there is a kind of power in the world. People, they are born with the ability to use haki. Haki is awakened innately. If Lucifer is born with 3 colors of haki awakened, and then practices hard for more than 20 years, it will be explained to reach this state. Aoki Pheasant feels that the truth was found. But if this is true, then Lucifer's ordinary civilian life for more than 20 years has been hidden. In that case, Lucifer is more terrifying than he imagined, because he is not only terrifying in strength, but also has a deeper scheming. Such a wise and brave man, people who have both are the most difficult to deal with. Hey, why are you distracted? Don't want to die? Lucifer raised his hand and pointed at the sky, and the devil whispered again, sword of judgment, weeping blood and cutting the sky. As soon as the words fell, a giant golden sword with a length of more than 500 meters suddenly condensed in the void. As Lucifer covered his armed domineering energy, the golden sword suddenly became pitch black. You too, don't die. Doomsday Judgment. Lucifer smiled playfully, and the giant golden sword suddenly fell down and slashed towards Qing Pheasant and Kizaru. Ice Age. 8-foot Magatama. Ao Pheasant and Kizaru used all their strength to meet the enemy with their killing moves at the same time. Facing Lucifer, they did not dare to be careless at all. Boom! The giant golden sword fell, and the ice cubes created by Akiji and Kizaru's flash bomb were instantly chopped into pieces. Then the golden sword struck Ching Pheasant and Kizaru, crushing the palace beneath their feet. A giant sword energy burst out with a shock wave, and the ground of Mariajoya instantly cracked, and a huge crack formed, spreading rapidly towards the distance. This sword seemed to split the entire Mariajoya in half. Boom! In the distance, a powerful shock wave erupted in front of Pangu City. Endless air waves rolled and gravel shot up. The huge crack that extended out was finally intercepted. The smoke dissipated, and 3 of the 5 old stars appeared there. The 3 of them kept their palms forward at the same time. Just now, these 3 people joined forces and used their armed domineering energy to form a barrier, which blocked the giant sword energy shock wave generated by the great sword. Otherwise, the ancient city behind them would also be split in half. Oh, even the 5 old stars took action personally? Lucifer smiled playfully, a little surprised. As the highest power of the world's government, the 5 old stars will not take action easily. Generally speaking, it will only appear when the Holy Land Mariajoya is in danger of destruction. I think Lucifer's attack is too powerful, so the 5 old stars are in danger of extinction. The devil Lucifer dares to destroy the Holy Land and is unforgivable. Death is your only fate. Let's capture him without mercy. The 5 old stars came towards Lucifer at the same time. The 3 of them were so fast that they could only see an afterimage. If you want to kill me, you are still far behind. Lucifer flapped his devil wings and soared into the sky, flying thousands of meters into the sky in an instant. Although I still want to play with you again, I had so much fun tonight that I don't want to play anymore. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future, and we have a long way to go. Lucifer raised his hand and struck the Holy Land at his feet, shouting angrily, Super Shinra Tianjin. The spirit of words touched the power of the rules, and endless repulsion suddenly broke out, with the center below Lucifer as the origin, roaring in all directions. The repulsion was like a mountain or a sea, destroying everything along the way. It was unstoppable. The palace was beaten into powder like tofu. The pirates, marines, and celestial dragons along the way were beaten into a pulp. Endless repulsion broke out, as if it was going to level the entire Mariajoya. Lucifer, do you dare? Stop. Court death. The 5 old stars were hit by the repulsive force and revealed their true bodies. They flew in 3 directions instantly, unleashed their armed domineering energy, and formed a barrier in an attempt to block the repulsive force. The other 5 old stars in Panga City also appeared, blocking the repulsive force in front of Panga City to ensure the safety of Panga City. Mariajoya can be destroyed anywhere, but Panga City is the only one that cannot be destroyed. Because Emu, the king of the Tianlong people, is sleeping there, disturbing him in his deep sleep, even the 5 old stars would be killed. Aoki Pheasant and Kizaru, who were seriously injured by the King Kong sword, also emerged from the ruins and fell in 2 directions respectively, helping the 5 old stars to withstand the repulsive attack. Boom! The entire Mariajoya seemed to have experienced a magnitude 20 earthquake. Countless palaces and houses collapsed and fell apart. Although the 5 old stars and the blue pheasant and the yellow ape blocked several directions, there were still several gaps. Repulsive force completely destroyed the unblocked palace in the gap. The endless ruins were swept away by the repulsive force and finally fell from the edge of the Red Earth continent. When the attack ended, what appeared in front of the 5 old stars was a ruin. The entire Mariajoya had been destroyed. Except for Pangu City, which was unscathed, the rest of the area was almost razed to the ground. This scene is really pleasant. Lucifer was suspended in the sky, looking at the ruins under his feet, and said with a smile, "But before using this trick, should I carry a few bags of rice? I always feel that Super Shinra Tenjin, who doesn't carry the rice, has no essence. We'll add it next time." Lucifer thought silently. Bastard, bastard. How dare you do such a thing? Unforgivable. Absolutely unforgivable. Demon Lucifer, you must die. The 5 old stars were furious and roared, and the roar spread throughout the entire Mariajoya area. The terrifying murderous aura erupted, causing the climate in the sky to change, and the wind and the remaining clouds. The 5 old stars looked to the sky, trying to find Lucifer, but they saw the way. Shifa flapped his devil's wings, and his speed soared to the limit. In a flash of black light, the whole person disappeared. The 5 old stars couldn't find anyone to take revenge on, and they had nowhere to vent their anger. They were all so angry that their livers ached. They could only be helpless and furious, crazy, roaring. Akiji and Kizaru crawled out from under the rubble. They looked at the ruins in front of them, looking at each other with bitterness on their faces. Facing this ending, they were helpless. They had tried their best to fight Lucifer, but he was no match for him, and instead he was seriously injured. Especially Kizaru, his injuries were even more serious, and even the old injuries that had just healed recurred. This time he would have to stay in the hospital for at least more than a month. Let Lucifer escape. It's hard to explain to Marshal of the Warring States period. This time it will affect your career. Ching Pheasant scratched his head and said depressedly, "There is no way, just the 2 of us can't keep Lucifer." Kizaru covered his chest with one hand and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with the other hand. Endless fear appeared in the depths of his pupils. He could clearly feel that after a while, Lucifer's strength had improved. If this continues, the next time they meet, he may die at the hands of Lucifer. At this moment, Kizaru made up his mind that he would never take on Lucifer-related tasks again. Even if he was suspended and his salary was deducted, he would never be with Lucifer. There is contact. Although the Admiral's treatment is good, his life is still at stake. Moreover, it's not that we can't explain to Marshal Warring States now. It's that Warring States can't explain to Wuloxing. Kizaru looked at the ruins around him. He could tell how heavy the loss of the Holy Land was this time, and he could also imagine how angry the 5 old stars would be. Sengoku, as a naval marshal, was not in a good position to protect him, so he would definitely be used by the 5 old stars to vent their anger. A punching bag. Just thinking about it makes Kizaru feel his scalp numb. That night, the Holy Land of Mariajoya was invaded. 80% of Mariajoya was razed to the ground, and naval soldiers, CP agents, and slaves suffered heavy casualties. The most important thing is that the Tianlong people also suffered casualties, and the number was quite large. Because of this incident, Lucifer was put on the must-kill list by the world's political authorities. The 5 old stars issued the highest killing order, asking the Navy headquarters to eradicate Lucifer, the evil element, at all costs. Of course, these are all things for later. At this time, Lucifer grabbed the seriously injured Jack and flew down to the Red Earth continent. According to the guidance of the life card, Lucifer quickly found the location of the netherworld. Call. A strong wind blew by, and Lucifer appeared on the bow of the netherworld. "Captain, you're back?" Seeing Lucifer's safe return, Anilu, Cavendish, and Baby 5 were all overjoyed. Invading the Holy Land Marijoa alone sounded very passionate, but the dangers involved can be imagined. They were waiting below the Red Earth continent. You can hear explosions and shouts of death coming from far away, tens of thousands of meters away, which shows the fierceness of the battle. "Let's go. Get out of here first. The Navy's pursuers will be here soon," Lucifer said as he threw Jack onto the deck. "Good." Cavendish quickly went to the helm and sailed away from here. As for Enel, he stared at Jack, who was vomiting blood. "Who is this guy?" "I didn't recognize him either. I only knew him as Jack. Seeing that he was quite capable and courageous, I brought him back." Lucifer's ship is still short of people. When he sees someone with strength and qualifications, he naturally can't let it go. Jack has good physical skills, is proficient in 2-color domineering, and dares to take action against the Navy Admiral, which is very suitable for Lucifer's recruitment conditions. "Baby 5, give him some treatment and don't let him die." "Okay, Captain Lucifer." Baby 5 felt the happiness of being needed. At this moment, Jack, who was clutching his chest, suddenly knelt at Lucifer's feet. "Thank you very much. Although I don't know who you are, I will keep your life-saving grace in my heart. If possible, please let me join you. I am willing to entrust my life to you." "Okay, let's go down for treatment first. If you want to work for me, you have to be alive." Lucifer looked at the seriously injured Jack and shook his head slightly. As a slave, this guy was tortured all over by the Tianlong people. Later, his lower abdomen was pierced by Kizaru's laser, and several ribs were kicked and broken. At this moment, he was already dying. If not treated in time, he will definitely die. Afterwards, Baby 5 took Jack for treatment, and Lucifer returned to his cabin to rest. Cavendish took the helm and went to sea, while Enel flew to the mast to monitor the vigil. Soon, the netherworld disappeared into the darkness of the night. In the cabin, Lucifer opened the System Properties panel. Attribute panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil Fruit. Word Spirit Fruit. Physique, Hell Demon. Armed Color Hockey. Peak. Wisdom Color Hockey. Advanced. Overlord Color Hockey. Peak. Killing Point, 385000. After a night of killing, Lucifer's killing point has been reached 385,000. Before the invasion of Maria Joya, Lucifer only had 80,000 kill points, but this time it more than quadrupled, with a total gain of over 300,000. This is Lucifer's biggest gain since going to sea. Maria Joya was indeed one of the top hunting grounds in Lucifer's mind, and the harvest did not disappoint him. When it comes to hunting grounds, apart from Maria Joya, it has to be the home base of the New World Yonko pirates. There are so many strong men in the Yonko pirates' lair, and if you kill just one of them, you can get a huge amount of killing points. And above all these is the deep-sea prison Impel Down City. There are countless pirate prisoners imprisoned in the city. The last floor is full of pirates with a bounty of over 100 million, including many legendary pirates. As long as the Impel City can be destroyed, Lucifer will be able to obtain a huge amount of killing points, and the value may exceed his imagination. Whether it is the home base of the Yonko pirates or Impel Down City, they are the hunting grounds chosen by Lucifer early on. In the future, Lucifer will venture into these places. In addition to these gains during this invasion of Maria Joya, Lucifer also had additional gains. With a wave of his hand, 5 devil fruits appeared on the table. Naval support arrived so quickly that Lucifer only had time to raid a Draco palace. But the harvest was pretty good. I got 5 devil fruits. Lucifer has never seen the devil fruit illustrated book, so naturally he doesn't know what these fruits are. Can the system identify these devil fruits? If he has powerful abilities, Lucifer doesn't want them to be recycled by the system. He wants to keep them for himself. Ding! It takes 3,000 kill points to identify a devil fruit. Do you want to identify it? More money for appraisal? Lucifer hesitated. 1 is 3,000 kill points, 5 is 15,000 kill points. This is already worth a good devil fruit. Forget it, just recycle it. If you want better capabilities in the future, just buy it. Lucifer made up his mind. System. Recover 5 devil fruits. Ding! 5 devil fruits were recovered successfully and 65,000 killing points were obtained. 5 fruits cost 65,000, which is equivalent to an average of 13,000 per fruit. It's SOSO. Looking at this harvest, you know that these 5 fruits are just ordinary fruits, and there is no top ability in them. Otherwise, there will be more killing points. Fortunately, there was no appraisal, otherwise it would have been a loss. Lucifer called up the system store. He now has a total of 450,000 killing points, which has reached a record high. He can make another wave of consumption. System. By the pinnacle of knowledge and domineering, Lucifer gave instructions in his heart. Ding! The pinnacle knowledge color domineering purchase was successful. 200,000 killing points were deducted, and the remaining killing points were 250,000. A force surged into Lucifer's body and merged with him. Lucifer activated his knowledge and instantly enveloped a radius of 10,000 meters. However, this was far from reaching the limit. Lucifer's knowledge was still expanding. 10,000 meters, 20,000 meters, 30,000 meters, until 50,000 meters, Lucifer felt a little intense consumption. However, as long as Lucifer is willing, his knowledge and color domineering can continue to spread. The peak level of knowledge and color hockey. The ability far exceeds the advanced level. The range of hockey that can be seen and heard is very large, and it can sense attacks, predict the opponent's next moves, perceive the strength of living things, perceive the emotions and thinking of living creatures, and sense the location and number of objects outside the field of vision. Functions have been significantly improved. There must be very few people who can cultivate the domineering power of seeing and hearing to the peak level. There are even fewer people who can surpass me. On the sea, strong men will specialize in cultivating the haki they are good at. Armed haki is the first choice. Although the haki of seeing and hearing can sense the enemy's breath and predict the enemy first, it is different from the haki of the armed who can both attack and defend and restrain natural abilities. In comparison, it is naturally weaker. Therefore, 90% of the strong men in the sea like to practice armed color haki. There are still many people who can cultivate the armed color haki to the peak, but there are people who can cultivate the knowledge color haki to the peak. There are only a few. Ding! It is detected that the host consumption kill point has exceeded 1 million. The system store is updated. Update completed. Suddenly, an electronic sound sounded in Lucifer's mind. System store update? Hearing the system prompt, Lucifer quickly turned his attention to the system store. After the update, there were many more items in the system store. For example, 3-color domineering. Above the peak realm, a new realm appeared. The 3-color domineering spirit has reached a new level above its peak state. Knowledge haki. Awakening, 1,000 killing points. Beginner, 5,000 killing points. Intermediate, 10,000 killing points. Advanced, 50,000 killing points. Peak, 200,000 killing points. Knowledge haki domain, 800,000 killings. Point. Armed color haki. Awakening, 1,000 killing points. Beginner, 5,000 killing points. Intermediate, 10,000 killing points. Advanced, 50,000 killing points. Peak, 200,000 killing points. Armed color haki field, 800,000 killings point. Overlord color domineering. Awakening, 1,000 killing points. Elementary, 5,000 killing points. Intermediate, 10,000 killing points. Advanced, 50,000 killing points. Peak, 200,000 killing points. Overlord color domineering field, 1 million kills point. The 3-color domineering spirit has an additional realm, created by the author. Please don't comment if you don't like it. Among them, the knowledge color field and the armed color field cost 800,000 kill points respectively, and the most expensive Overlord color field costs 1 million kill points, which is simply a sky-high price. The system also has relevant introductions to the field of 3-color domineering. When a person's domineering reaches the limit, he can open up the domineering field. When turned on, the field of knowledge and color can block the enemy's perception of the power of knowledge and color and automatically awaken the ability to predict the future. In the field, he can be called omniscient and omniscient. All the enemy's attacks will be seen by you in advance, but the enemy's power of knowledge will be blocked by you, making it impossible to predict your attacks. One can imagine the difference between this increase and one decrease. After opening the armed color haki field, the field will be completely filled with your armed color haki. People with natural abilities cannot be elementalized in the field and will be attacked at all times. With a thought, the armed domineering energy condenses into substance, and attacks are everywhere. The Overlord color domineering field, when activated, can forcefully attack the enemy's mind and weaken the enemy's strength. In the Overlord color haki field, the enemy's strength will be greatly reduced, and just like the armed color haki field, the enemy will also be attacked at all times in the field. This is too outrageous. Lucifer can be sure that no one in the sea has reached the realm of realm, not even the 4 emperors. Of course, no one knows whether the king of the dragons who has lived for 800 years, has reached this realm. Come to think of it, with his 800 years of cultivation, he should have already entered the domain realm. In addition to the 3-color domineering domain realm, there are many more powerful abilities and products in the system store. For example, the ability to predict the future with the domineering power of seeing and hearing color, 200,000 killing points. Seeing and hearing color domineering ability to listen to the voices of all things, 200,000 kill points. Animal type, cat fruit, phantom beast species, golden sword lion form, 200,000 kill points. Animal type, human fruit, phantom beast species, fallen angel form, 300,000 killing point. Natural mercury fruit, 200,000 killing points. In addition to these powerful devil fruits, there are also many special fruits, such as the physical strength fruit, which is worth 100,000 killing points. After eating, it can instantly restore all physical strength and reach the peak state. Healing fruit, worth 200,000 killing points. As long as you don't die, all injuries can be cured instantly after eating it. Secret injuries caused over the years are invalid. There is also the life fruit, also worth 200,000 killing points. After eating, it can add 1 year lifespan and also has the effect of treating dark wounds. The system store was so dazzling that Lucifer was almost dazzled by the many powerful abilities and items. There are many items that Lucifer covets as well, but it's a pity that he doesn't have enough killing points now. Close the system store and open the properties panel. Lucifer gave the order in his heart. Attribute panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit. Word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed color hockey. Peak. Wisdom color hockey. Peak. Overlord color hockey. Peak. Killing points, 250000. Lucifer now there are still 250,000 killing points, but those powerful abilities are far behind. Devil fruits and auxiliary fruits are affordable, but they are of no use to him. He has a demonic constitution, immortality, and is almost unkillable. It seems that we need to earn more kill points. Lucifer looked at the Overlord-colored domineering field worth 1 million and set a small goal for himself. I don't want much, so I'll make him 1 million first. The night is over and the day is dawning, and time has come to the next day. The rescue work of Marie Joya is not over yet, but the news of the invasion of the Holy Land has spread around the world, and the world has been shaken. The person who caused this situation to happen was naturally Morgans. As the president of the World Economic News Agency and one of the kings of the underground world, Morgans did not care at all about the consequences of spreading this news, and he was not worried about it. Suffering revenge from the world government. Morgans is a very professional man who values news more than his own life. After his newsbird sent the photos back to news agency headquarters last night, Morgans immediately wrote the story and printed the paper overnight. At dawn the next day, countless newsbirds flew around the world with newspapers. There is no charge for this batch of newspapers, and Morgans distributes them all for free. The Holy Land of Maria Joya was invaded, and the intruder was Admiral Akainu? Admiral Akainu invades the Holy Land, and the Navy headquarters and the world's government part ways. For those who challenge the majesty of God, the wave of a new era is about to hit. The devil Lucifer invades the Holy Land of Maria Joya, and the world's government is disgraced. The man who challenges the majesty of God, the devil Lucifer. For such big news, one headline or one newspaper issue is obviously not enough. Last night, Morgans was full of thoughts and inspiration. He wrote 5 reports at once, using 5 sensational headlines, and arranged it made 5 front-page headlines and published them all at once. Moreover, there were contradictions and disputes between several headlines. Morgans clearly knew that the intruder was Lucifer, and he also named the intruder on another page of the newspaper. It's Lucifer, but he just wanted to include Admiral Akainu in it, just because Lucifer used Admiral Akainu's special skill. Of course, it is impossible for the Admiral to invade the Holy Land. But those who saw this title, you will naturally be attracted and then read the newspaper. This is the so-called clickbait. As the president of the World Economic News Agency, Morgans is well aware of the huge power of clickbait. And the result is just as he expected. As the newspaper spreads, the news of the invasion of Holy Land Maria Joya spread across the world as quickly as possible. Everyone who read the newspaper was shocked and felt that the sky was about to fall. Such a sensational thing broke the routine of countless people's cognition. The majesty of the world's government has been severely damaged and its face has been completely lost. The majesty of the Navy headquarters has also been severely damaged. Especially the news that the intruder is suspected to be Admiral Akainu has left countless low-level civilians dumbfounded. Of course, the big shots know this. It's impossible, but the common people at the bottom don't know. They only know that the Navy is an organization established by the world's government, and the Admiral is the highest combat power of the world's government. Now the Admiral has invaded Maria Joya. It means that the Navy headquarters is betraying the world's government. If it is true, The world's pattern will undergo drastic changes. Countless low-level civilians are in panic all day long, feeling that the world will be destroyed because of this. Marie Joya, Pangu City Palace. Boom. A gold tea table was smashed to pieces by the curly-haired 5 old stars. This bastard Morgans actually dared to report such news. Did he want to die? This time the Holy Land invaded the world. The world government and the Navy headquarters were disgraced. They originally wanted to cover up the news, but by the time they acted, it was already too late. Morgans's newspaper had already spread all over the world. Send CP to deal with it. Morgans has been too presumptuous recently. Let him know what he can and cannot do. The blonde 5 old star said lightly. Yes, it is related to the majesty of the world government and must not be taken lightly. However, the current top priority is to solve the culprit of this incident, Lucifer. This damn bastard must be completely eliminated at all costs. The 5 old stars looked at Lucifer's bounty order with endless killing intent in their eyes. Warring states, I leave this matter to you. We don't care what method you use, and we don't care what means you use. We only want one result: Lucifer must die. Wullaoxing looked at Marshal Warring States standing in front of him at the same time. I know. I will do it as soon as possible. Of course, Warring States knows that it is very difficult to completely eliminate Lucifer, and the possibility is slim. But now he can only accept this task. Looking at the furious 5 old stars, Warring States is afraid that if he says anything difficult, these 5 bastard old men will go crazy. They teamed up to beat him up. He was also afraid that he would not be able to suppress his anger and beat up the 5 old men in front of him. After the incident last night, Wullaoxing vented all his anger on him, making him a human being inside and outside the Warring States period. Now, Sengoku's anger has risen to his throat and will burst out at any time. Sengoku, Mimpi, who did I provoke whom? New World, Navy G1 branch. Boom. A ball of magma exploded inside the building, completely destroying the entire room. When the surrounding Navy soldiers saw where the room was, no one dared to step forward to check the situation because it was Admiral Akainu's office. Everyone knows that Admiral Akainu is currently in a state of rage. If you touch him at this time, you will probably be burned to ashes. Damn Lucifer! How dare he do such a thing? I can't spare him. Akainu's expression was twisted, and he was extremely angry. Lava erupted all over his body, and the newspaper in his hand was burned to ashes. In the flames, the title of the newspaper could be vaguely seen. The Holy Land Mariajoya was invaded, and the intruder turned out to be the Navy. General Akainu? When people sit at home, the blame comes from the sky. Akainu has been sitting in the New World during this period and has never returned to the Navy headquarters, let alone the Holy Land. But for this invasion, the blame suddenly hit him on the head. When Akainu saw today's newspaper, his head almost exploded. I invaded the Holy Land Mariajoya? Why didn't I know? What? You said the whole world knew about it, but I was the last one to know? Contact me later at the Navy headquarters. Akainu learned the cause and effect of the incident, and this time, it was the devil Lucifer who made him take the blame. Ever since his beloved General Doberman was killed by Lucifer, Akainu has been eyeing Lucifer, and he has extreme hatred in his heart. Lucifer. And this incident completely ignited Akainu's anger. Although he was not responsible for this incident, the big shots in the world also knew that the intruder was not him. But because of this report, his reputation it will still be damaged. This is very disadvantageous for Akainu, who wants to be a naval marshal. If he is not careful, his career may be affected, and the throne of the Navy Marshal will be ruined. Lucifer of MMP, you have done a good job. Let me take the blame. Damn you, brat. I will definitely burn you to ashes. Akainu's whole body erupted with lava, and his roar silenced the entire G1 branch Navy. New World, Moby Dick. Dad, something big has happened. Marco fell from the sky and delivered 2 newspapers to Whitebeard. The title of the first newspaper was very scary. Admiral Akainu invaded the Holy Land. The Navy headquarters and the world government parted ways. Blah blah blah. The Navy headquarters is going to break with the world government? What a joke. Of course, Whitebeard would not believe such news, so he opened the second newspaper. Sure enough, the title had changed. The devil Lucifer invades the holy land of Mary Joa, and the world's government is disgraced. Well, that makes sense. That kid is pretty capable. Even if he is Whitebeard, he has to admire Lucifer's courage. I heard that the entire Mary Joa has been bulldozed by Lucifer, and a battle last night lasted until early this morning. The two admirals Akiji and Kazark failed to save Lucifer, but were injured by him instead. Marco is also very well informed. In addition to the information in newspapers, there are also some gossips. If this is the case, then this kid's strength is really extraordinary. Whitebeard looked at the newspaper in his hand and sighed. The word admiral itself represents strength. The fact that the two generals were defeated after joining forces proved that Lucifer's strength was extremely terrifying, and he could keep pace with the four emperors. The surrounding people, the members of the Whitebeard pirates, looked at the newspaper and were all dumbfounded. Facing Lucifer, they could no longer maintain their superiority. All their pride came from Whitebeard, and Lucifer himself could be compared with Whitebeard. Although he is a newcomer, his strength and status are far above them. The New World, the country of Wano. The sky above Ghost Island was covered with dark clouds, lightning, and thunder. In Onigashima Palace, Kaido sat on the ground, drinking crazily with a wine gourd. After drinking the wine in the gourd in one breath, Kaido looked at the newspaper in his hand. The devil Lucifer bulldozed the holy land Mary Joa. What an arrogant brat he is. Ha 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 ha. Kaido laughed loudly, obviously in a good mood. According to the news from Morgans, Akiji and Kizaru were no match for Lucifer when they joined forces, and instead were injured by him. In the end, even the 5 old stars came forward to force Lucifer back. Beside Kaido, Yin Banjin said in a low voice, "The 5 old stars and generals, are just a bunch of trash. Being beaten like this by a kid proves that they are nothing more than that. But this kid is pretty good and has the value of cooperation. If he is interested, he can join forces with me to destroy this world." What Kaido wants most is to launch a war that affects the whole world, and then completely destroy this boring world. Lucifer's strength and his crazy actions make Kaido very interested, thinking that Lucifer is the same as him humanoid. Just then, Droughtjack spoke. "Lord Kaido, Doflamingo contacted us some time ago and wants to establish a cooperative relationship with the Beast Pirates. His request is to ask us to help him eradicate Lucifer. Doflamingo is one of the underground kings with a wide network of connections. He can't deal with Lucifer himself, so he can only find helpers. The Beast Pirates are one of the helpers he seeks." Doflamingo? That flamingo? When Doflamingo was mentioned, Kaido looked disdainful. The so-called title of King Shichibukai was worthless in his eyes. "There are many people who want to cooperate with me. Who is he? He dares to make demands? Ignore him. I have no time to get involved in personal grudges with him." "Yes, Lord Kaido." Jack respectfully accepted the order. Kaido only looked like a reckless man on the surface, but he still had basic understanding. Lucifer was able to bulldoze Mary Joa alone and injure 2 Navy admirals, Akiji Kizaru, which has proven that his strength is comparable to that of the 4 emperors. Now Kaido just wants to win over Lucifer. How can he become enemies with Lucifer because of Doflamingo? New World, Sea of All Nations, Cake Island. Well, this Lucifer is really capable. The 4th emperor's aunt was sitting on the sofa, reading the newspaper and drooling wildly. The desire in her eyes became even higher. She originally took a fancy to Lucifer's strength and his suspected status as a rare race, and wanted to recruit Lucifer to marry her daughter. Now the stronger Lucifer is, the more she wants. According to Lucifer's sailing route, he should have entered the New World by now, right? Snag is ready? Let him go to sea immediately to find Lucifer and bring him back to Cake Island. Mom, judging from Lucifer's current record, Snag is no match for Lucifer. Snag would be in danger if Lucifer refused to join us. Katakuri said in a low voice. Reject? Does she dare to refuse me? Auntie's eyes immediately widened, and she burst into reality. Her expression was very ferocious and terrifying. She never considered the possibility of Lucifer's rejection, She just wanted it. Compared to the muscular Kaido, the Yonko Annie's brain is actually bigger, even worse. Although she is very old, her mentality is still like a child, very simple. She wants something she likes, regardless of whether others want it or not. If others refuse, she will lose her temper and then destroy it. If you don't get it, destroy it. This is also one of the characteristics of children. That's right, Mom. According to my judgment, Lucifer will definitely refuse. He is not inferior to others. Lucifer is not someone who is inferior to others and will not agree to our solicitation. We made a mistake in judgment before. Lucifer is very strong and Snag is no match for him. Actually, Katakuri wants to say that he is not Lucifer's opponent. In the entire Big Mom, only the Yonko ant can fight against Lucifer. If you want to recruit Lucifer, the ant must take action personally. But Katakuri cannot agree with these words. Maybe if you tell me, it won't make sense to reason with the fourth Emperor's ant. Unfortunately, Mom, we can't recruit Lucifer. Katakuri sighed and said, unable to recruit? That's not necessarily true. Well, send an invitation to the tea party to that kid and invite him to Cake Island. A dangerous light flashed in Annie's eyes. Obviously, Katakuri's words did not make Annie give up her idea. Auntie's obsession is very deep. As long as she wants something, she must do whatever it takes to get it. Pass the word, Katakuri, prepare for this year's tea party. Well. Auntie's laughter echoed in the palace, extremely harsh. Yes, Mom. Katakuri's expression remained unchanged, and he respectfully exited the palace after accepting the order. The new world is a small island covered in ice and snow. In the mountain cave, the red-haired pirates are having a bonfire party here. This Lucifer is so awesome. He really stole the show this time. He even stole our limelight. That's right. He dared to invade Maria Joya single-handedly. I haven't seen such a brave newcomer in many years. After this incident, the amount of his reward will definitely skyrocket, right? It's definitely more than 1 billion, maybe more than 2 billion. By that time, only the captain and the deputy captain of our pirate group had higher bounties than him. A group of pirates laughed and talked about Lucifer. Next to him, red-haired Shanks stared at the newspaper in his hand with a serious expression. What's wrong? Aren't you very optimistic about this newcomer? The expression is very scary. Beckman put a glass of wine next to the red-haired man and blew out a smoke ring. The red-haired man shook his head. I am very optimistic about his strength, and his qualifications are one of a kind. But he is too dangerous, and he has done something bad for me. Premonition. The red-haired man was really very optimistic about Lucifer at first, because he was a rare newbie pirate. He was qualified, powerful, very young, and very similar to him. But Lucifer's behavior was too crazy, and the red-haired man also felt a little shocked. Single-handedly bulldozing the holy land of Mary Joya sounded powerful, and it was even more powerful when done. But it was too crazy, and it was not something a normal person would do at all. Lucifer's behavior reminded him of a person. That person. The legendary forbidden pirate Rox. If Lucifer is really the same kind of person as Rox, then not only the Navy and pirates will be threatened, but the whole world. Combined with Lucifer's previous actions, plus this incident happened. At this moment, Shanks was very sure that Lucifer was not the successor of Roger's will. He was more like the successor of Rox. Lucifer's madness would threaten the entire world sooner or later. Okay, don't worry about this. We haven't finished our own work yet, Beckman said while blowing out smoke rings. Huh? What else do we have to do with ourselves? The red-haired man looked confused. Hey, you don't think it's over after defeating those competitors, do you? What about the territory? Where is our territory? Compared with Whitebeard and the other three, our territory is far from enough. Beckman shook his head, with a look of helplessness on his face. When you encounter such a funny captain, he, the deputy captain, has to worry about everything. It's simply too tiring. Ha. Territory is not important. As a pirate, the most important thing is freedom. The redhead laughed. So what if the territory is small? Our red-haired pirates are already the 4 emperors. No one can deny this. It doesn't matter if you have less land. as long as you can sail freely on the sea. We don't need territory to prove our strength. That's right. What the captain said makes sense. Brothers, there's a party. The atmosphere in the mountain caves is very lively. There is heavy snow outside, and the extreme cold cannot affect the enthusiasm of these pirates at all. New World, Dressrosa. Doflamingo was holding the latest newspaper. His hands were shaking a little, and there were a few drops of cold sweat on his forehead. Damn this guy. Even the world's government can't do anything about him? Looking at the shocking things Lucifer had done, even Doflamingo couldn't help but feel helpless. He invaded the Holy Land Marihoa alone. The blue pheasant and the yellow ape teamed up but were injured, and even the 5 old stars were helpless. Like this, the strength is much stronger than him. The gap in strength between the two sides is too great, and there is no possibility for the Don Quixote family to win. Joker, what to do now? Lucifer the bastard has entered a new world. Toribol asked with a runny nose. After knowing Lucifer's terrifying strength, officials such as Toribol and Pika have given up the idea of revenge against Lucifer. Now they have to pray that Lucifer will not come. They're trouble. Don't panic, it's not time to despair yet. Doflamingo growled. What about Kaido? Have you heard anything yet? If he can get Kaido's help, Doflamingo will have the confidence to deal with Lucifer. No, I haven't been able to contact you. Toribol shook his head. Also, all the pirates we contacted before have given up cooperating with us. In order to seek revenge on Lucifer, Doflamingo contacted many pirates in the New World during this period. They were all very skilled and powerful. But after this incident spread, these pirates all gave up in Doflamingo's cooperation. Even if Doflamingo increased the reward several times, they did not agree. Damn, what a bunch of bastards who act according to the circumstances. Doflamingo's face turned pale. Continue to contact Kaido. As long as you can cooperate with Kaido, it doesn't matter if there is no one else. Yes, young master. Doflamingo still has the last glimmer of hope, and Kaido is his last life-saving straw. But what he doesn't know is that Kaido doesn't take him to heart at all. Now Doflamingo, although he has great power, wide connections, and business all over the world, but he still lacks the qualifications to cooperate with Kaido. In the original work, Doflamingo is able to cooperate with Kaido because he can produce artificial devil fruits. But now, Doflamingo does not have this bargaining chip. The only thing Kaido can value is artificial devil fruit. Kaido does not value other resources that Doflamingo has. In the original work, this is also proven by the fact that Doflamingo will be killed by Kaido once he loses his artificial devil fruit. In a sea area of the New World, the sun is shining brightly, the breeze is blowing, and the netherworld is sailing slowly on the sea. Captain, the latest bounty order is out, and your bounty is terrifyingly high. Enelu turned into a bolt of thunder and fell from the mast and came to Lucifer. Lucifer, who was lying on the beach chair, opened his eyes and took the bounty order handed over by Enelu. Devil Lucifer, bounty 2548 million Baileys, a heinous crime, no matter life or death. With a one-time increase of more than 2 billion, it seems that the Navy headquarters and the world government have really gone crazy this time. Lucifer smiled faintly. Such an amount is also top-notch in the New World. Only the Yonko pirates are taller than Lucifer. Next to him, Enel, Cavendish, and Baby 5 all rolled their eyes. Listen to this. Yes, can anyone tell me? You have bulldozed Mary Joa. Can the world government and the Navy headquarters not go crazy? In the 800 years since the establishment of the world government, you are the only one who dares to do such a thing, right? And with the spread of the bounty order, some pirates in the New World have already regarded Lucifer as the 5 Emperors. The 5 Emperors demon Lucifer is a great pirate who can be on par with Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, and Red Hair. Just now entering the New World, he ascended the throne of the Emperor. Lucifer was the first person since the great pirate era began. What about you? Didn't your bounty go up? Lucifer looked at Enel and the other 3. Although Lucifer was the only one who invaded Mariajoya this time, the Enel and 3 others would also be affected as his crew. Ours has gone up too. The 3 men of Enelu took out the reward order. The god of thunder, Enelu, has a bounty of 220 million belly. The crime is so heinous that no matter life or death. The Weasel Cavendish has a bounty of 185 million belly. The crime is extremely heinous, no matter life or death. Battle-Made Baby 5 has a bounty of 166 million Baileys. The crime is so heinous that no matter life or death. The bounties for the three people have been symbolically increased by 100 million, which is considered an additional bounty brought by the Netherworld pirates. In addition, there is also the slave Jack who was taken away by Lucifer. The Navy also issued a reward for him. Jack the Ripper has a reward of 296 million Baileys. He has committed a heinous crime, and no matter whether he lives or lives. Jack the Ripper? Your name is quite bluffing. Enelu took Jack's reward order and smiled playfully. That's all in the past, so don't mention it. Jack, who was sitting in the corner, looked at the reward notice and shook his head slightly, with a trace of bitterness on his lips. After a few days of getting along, Lucifer and the others already knew Jack's origins. He was originally a Navy, and he was a Rear Admiral. Not only in this way, because of his repeated military exploits and sufficient strength, the Navy headquarters has decided to grant him the rank of Lieutenant General. However, during a mission, Jack accidentally offended the Tianlong people. Not only was his promotion cancelled, but he was given a lot of. The biggest crime was to massacre all the residents of a small town. Therefore, he was nicknamed the Ripper. Jack was framed and unable to return to the Navy headquarters. Instead, he became a criminal and was wanted by the Navy headquarters. Jack escaped for more than a year and was finally captured by General Kizaru. After being captured, Jack was not imprisoned in Impel Down City, but was sent to Mary Joa to become a Draco slave and was tortured for several years. Until a few days ago, Lucifer made a big fuss in the Holy Land, Mary Joa, and Jack took the opportunity to escape from trouble. The Navy is really dark inside. Can this be considered a justice organization? Cavendish sneered disdainfully. It should be said that it is not the Navy that is dark, but the celestial dragons. As long as it's about the Dracos, Lucifer doesn't think it's surprising that Jack ended up like this. Even if everyone in the Navy knows that Jack was wronged, it's useless. No one can withstand the frivolous words of the Dracos. Words. Compared with the Tianlong people, what is a mere Rear Admiral? I think there are some people in the Navy who have fought for Jack, but the result will be known by looking at Jack's fate. The orders of the Tianlong people are absolute. Even if it's the Navy headquarters, we can't disobey it. Jack the Ripper, you are quite capable. You said you were willing to work for me, right? Lucifer looked at Jack. Yes, you saved my life. From today on, my life belongs to you. Jack knelt down at Lucifer's feet and said respectfully, well, from today on, you are a member of the Netherworld Pirates. The Netherworld Pirates are in short supply. Jack is very powerful, comparable to the Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters. He is worthy of being included. Yes, thanks, Captain Lucifer. Looking at Jack kneeling on the ground, Lucifer hooked his finger, and a devil fruit appeared out of thin air. You probably aren't an Esper yet, so I'll give you this devil fruit. Its abilities fit your nickname perfectly. Jack took the devil fruit, a little excited, but also a little confused. Captain, this fruit is... The superhuman ability to cut fruits is considered to be the top ability among superhumans. If used well, it can greatly improve your combat power. Yes, thanks, Captain Lucifer. Jack didn't hesitate, opened his mouth and ate the devil fruit directly. This was a devil fruit recovered by Lucifer with the power of word spirit. Lucifer didn't know how it tasted, but looking at Jack's twisted expression, Lucifer already knew the answer. Superman? Type cutting fruit. The ability user can create vacuum slashes at will, and it is very powerful. Theoretically, when the cutting fruit is developed to a certain extent, it can cut through anything, even space. In the identification of the system, this fruit is worth 80,000 killing points. The person with the ability to cut the fruit who died in Lucifer's hands did not exert the true power of this fruit at all. Because of this, Lucifer has never recovered it, just wanting to use it come to train cadres. Jack has good strength and qualifications, and cutting fruits is very suitable for him. I think it won't be long before he can adapt to the power of cutting fruits. By then, his strength can be improved a lot. Of course, Lu Shifa is not afraid that Jack will betray him. He can give the fruit, and of course he can kill him to take back the fruit. Well, it's time to set sail again. Lucifer stood up and gave the order. Captain, where should we go next? Asked Cavendish at the helm. Go to Dressrosa and solve a problem. I think Doflamingo is also impatient, so let's go give him a ride. Lucifer has not forgotten that he and Doflamingo have already formed a deep hatred. Now that they have become enemies, it is natural to eradicate the roots. Otherwise, if Doflamingo is left, who knows what little tricks he will do behind the scenes. Mention too much flamenco, Baby Five's face is very complicated. After all, she was originally Doflamingo's subordinate. Hey, Baby Five, you won't be reluctant to part with it, right? Cavendish looked at Baby Five, showing a hint of indifference. If you dare to tip off, I won't spare you. Now, Cavendish has completely regarded himself as a member of the Netherworld Pirates. He will not show mercy to traitors. Don't worry, Baby Five won't do that. Right? Baby Five. Lucifer looked at Baby Five and smiled faintly. Just don't underestimate me, Cavendish. Baby Five cursed. I am now a member of the Netherworld Pirates, and I know my position. That's good. In this way, the Netherworld speeded up and set sail, following the road signs to Dressrosa. Soon, the Netherworld disappeared on the sea level. Admiralty Headquarters, Marine Ford, Marshal's Office. Warring States is on the phone with Wulaoxing. I have sent people to track down Lucifer's whereabouts. He will be found soon. Lucifer is very powerful. I need to make a careful plan before I act. I'm already seizing the time. Okay, that's it. Zhonghua hung up the phone and sighed deeply. Is it the 5 old stars again? Next to him, Lieutenant General He, the chief staff officer, put his chin on his hands and asked calmly. Yes, they are urging us to send troops to eliminate Lucifer quickly. Warring States squeezed his eyebrows, feeling a little tired. Not only physically tired, but also mentally tired. Since the Holy Land Mariajoya was bulldozed, Warring States had hardly rested. The Holy Land kept exerting pressure, and the urging calls came one after another. It never stopped. In fact, Lucifer killed too many Dracos this time, and some Draco families were almost wiped out. The remaining Dracos were extremely angry and naturally wanted revenge. However, Lucifer was too powerful. How can it be so simple to catch him or even eliminate him? To confront Lucifer without any preparation is to let the Navy soldiers die in vain. Warring States would not do that, so he used the drag tactic. The future is long, and their Navy has been he is preparing to eliminate Lucifer, but how long this preparation will last is beyond his control. Just let them go in a hurry. The celestial dragons are just a bunch of garbage. The world would be cleaner if they died. Next to him, Garp, who was sitting on the sofa, laughed. While laughing, he stuffed donuts one by one into his mouth, eating them with gusto. Hearing the news that the Tianlong people suffered heavy casualties, Garp was in a good mood and had a big appetite. Open. Not only do I have to eat 100 more bowls of food every day, but I also broke my donut eating record several times. Shut up, Cap. Stop talking nonsense. Although he is also very dissatisfied with the Tianlong people, Sengoku will not speak out like Garp. You must know that even slandering the Tianlong people and insulting them behind their backs is an unforgivable death penalty. Even a vice admiral cannot escape sanctions. That is to say, Garp has too much prestige as a naval hero, and he has a good friend like Sanghua who keeps wiping his butt, so he can live in peace for so many years. If an ordinary navy dared to be so bold, they would have been eradicated by the world government long ago. Ha 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 ha, ignore those idiots, Sengoku. Take out the tea, I just bought Senbei. Garp turned a blind eye to Sengoku's roar, but instead took out a bag of Senbei after finishing the donuts. Well, Warring States shook his head and sighed deeply. He was too tired and had no energy to argue with Garp today. At this moment, a burst of rapid footsteps sounded outside the door, and then a rear admiral broke into the office. Your Excellency, Marshal, something big has happened. What's up? Could it be that Lucifer is causing trouble again? Zhonghua's face changed. Every time someone reported something big, it would often involve Lucifer. He didn't want to hear these words at all now. As soon as he heard these words, he had a splitting headache. No, this time it has nothing to do with Lucifer. It was an accident in the scientific force. Caesar of the Naval Science Force caused an experimental accident in Punkhaz-Sad. Now, the two research institutes on the island have been blown up, and the Navy stationed there suffered heavy casualties. And due to the spread of poisonous gas, the entire Punkhaz-Sad has now become an island of poisonous gas, and casualties continue to increase. In normal times, warring states might have been anxious when he heard such big news. After all, Punkhaz-Sad is one of the most important experimental bases of the Navy, and the accident would also be a huge loss. But now, not only is he not anxious, but he breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Lucifer didn't cause trouble, compared with Lucifer's invasion of the Holy Land, what was a mere experimental accident? Send people to arrest Caesar and rescue the wounded on the island to see if the poisonous gas on the island can be eliminated. If that doesn't work, lock down the entire Punkhaz-Sad. The warring states period issued instructions in a leisurely manner. Yes, Your Majesty, Marshal. The rear admiral saluted respectfully and then exited the office. Sengoku sat back on the recliner, took a sip from the teacup, and breathed a sigh of relief. Now, as long as he doesn't hear the news about Lucifer's troubles, it's good news for him. New World, aboard the Netherworld. Lucifer lay on the bow of the boat, enjoying the sunbath and sea breeze. On the deck behind him, Enel and Cavendish were playing cards. With the addition of Jack, they finally had 4 people. But it's not so easy for them to play cards. Lucifer imposed a gravity field on them. When 4 people are playing cards, they are being tempered by gravity all the time. Even if you move your fingers, it takes a lot of physical and mental energy. The New World is full of hidden dragons and crouching tigers, and there are many strong people. If they want to gain a foothold here, they must practice harder. Boom, 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 boom. Suddenly, an explosion sounded from a distance. Lucifer clicked his finger and canceled the gravity field. The 4 people quickly stood up from the deck and looked towards the sea southeast of the Netherworld. I saw 3 warships approaching the Netherworld quickly. While approaching, they kept firing. Hey, hey, hey. Is there a navy that dares to come to your door? Cavendish is a little funny. You know, now that the Nether Pirates have completely made a name for themselves, when the Navy encounters the Nether Pirates on the sea, they immediately turn around and flee. Cavendish has already taken the initiative to surrender to the trap. Long time no see. Their target is not us, but the guy in the sky. Enelu looked at the sky in front of the warship, and there was a breath of air escaping quickly. The Navy's artillery shells were aimed at that person. When Lucifer and others discovered the warship, the naval observers on the warship also discovered the Netherworld. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel, traces of the Nether Pirates were found in the sea ahead. On the warship, a naval colonel came behind Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel and reported respectfully. Nether Pirates, Lucifer? Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel's hand, holding the knife, tightened suddenly. He looked at the fleeing figures in the sky. A trace of unwillingness flashed in his eyes. At the same time, he looked at the Netherworld in the distance, and deep hatred appeared in the depths of his pupils. But soon, all kinds of emotions were forcibly suppressed by him. Send the order. The whole army retreats. Yes, Lieutenant General. The order was issued, and the 3 warships immediately turned around and fled into the distance. There was no way. Who told them that the person they met was Lucifer? The Navy headquarters had already issued an order to give up if they encountered the Netherworld pirates on the sea. In all tasks, saving life comes first. Even if he is unwilling to do so, Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel has no choice. He is not afraid of death, but there are thousands of naval soldiers behind him. He cannot drag thousands of naval soldiers to die with him. Oh, escaped, escaped. On the Netherworld, Cavendish looked at the 3 fleeing warships and shouted. I thought they had some backbone, but I didn't expect them to be a bunch of cowards. When you meet Captain Lucifer, isn't it normal practice for the Navy to escape? What's all the fuss about? What I'm more curious about is, who is the man being chased by 3 warships? Enelu looked at the cloud of gas in the sky. Although it didn't have a human form, Seibaki told him that it was a person. Can't we find out if we catch him and ask him? Lucifer smiled faintly, raised his hand to aim at the escaping gas in the sky, and grabbed it hard. All things are attracted by the sky. A burst of gravity broke out, and the gas in the sky was torn apart instantly. Lucifer then captured him back to the netherworld. With a bang, the gas hit the deck, and a human figure appeared. Who? How dare you arrest me? Don't want to die? The visitor had a very bad temper, and immediately cursed after regaining his physical form, but he quickly froze, with cold sweat breaking out on his face, and froze in place. Say it. Why don't you continue? Inalu's eyes were evil, and electric light appeared on his body. Cavendish had sharpened his knife. Baby Five's hands had turned into huge cannon barrels, and his fists covered the armed and domineering Jack. But these were not the most deadly. The most terrible thing was that Lucifer was standing in front of everyone, staring at him with amusement. I asked who it was. It turned out to be Caesar. No wonder he had such a bad temper. The man being chased by the Navy was actually Caesar Carrant, the mad scientist who created the artificial devil fruit in the original work. Lucifer didn't expect that he would meet him here. I remember that in the original work, Caesar defected in 1516. Yes, I think it's now. Then Caesar will meet Doflamingo, and then be recruited by him to create artificial devil fruits for him, thus establishing a cooperative relationship with Kaido. But now, Caesar has been intercepted by Lucifer. I can only say that this is God's will. Even God is helping Lucifer and arranges fate to send Caesar to Lucifer. Road, Lucifer, why are you here? When Caesar saw Lucifer, it was like seeing a savage beast. He was shocked and took a few steps back. At the same time, his body turned into gas form, flew into the sky, and fled. Lucifer's evil reputation is not only aimed at the Navy, but also at sea. Thief. More pirates died at the hands of Lucifer than the Navy. Caesar didn't want to die, so he had no choice but to escape. Hey, now that you're here, wouldn't it be too disrespectful to leave without saying hello? Inalu was the fastest. With a flash of lightning, he teleported to the sky above Caesar's head. The dark golden rod hit Caesar's head, knocking Caesar down into the sky. Cavendish and Jack also took action at the same time, attacking from the left and right, causing Caesar to be injured again. Caesar hit the deck of the netherworld hard, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Immediately, the sword flashed, and Baby Five's arm turned into a scimitar, which was already on Caesar's neck. He escaped from the tiger's mouth, but he falling into a pack of wolves. Caesar is really on the verge of crying. Don't leave in a hurry, sit down and chat. Lucifer sat in front of Caesar and said with a smile, Chat, what to talk about? Caesar swallowed his saliva and said with a dry smile, Judging from your appearance, you should have defected to the Navy now. Do you want to come to my ship? Not to mention Caesar's identity as a scientist, he is also a natural gas fruit ability user. There are still very few natural gas ability users, and the gas fruit is very destructive and toxic. For this reason alone, it is worth recruiting Lucifer. Turn to you. Caesar rolled his eyes and suddenly felt that this was not bad. Although Lucifer is a newcomer, his strength is terrifying, stronger than the Admiral, enough to protect him. And now that Lucifer has rushed into the new world, he will soon build his own huge force. When the time comes, he who relies on this force will naturally be able to get support and continue his research. Caesar's dream is very simple. That is, he wants to surpass Vegapunk and become the world's #1 scientist. With Lucifer's protection, there is a good chance that this dream can be realized. And Caesar glanced at the scimitar on his neck and the few people around him who were watching eagerly and swallowed again. Although Lucifer invited him, he didn't give him the right to refuse. If he dares to say no, he will be dead in the next second. Okay, I agreed. I want to be your subordinate. Caesar nodded repeatedly. Sure enough, talking to smart people is a pleasure. Lucifer waved his hand, and Baby Five immediately removed the scimitar. Caesar breathed a sigh of relief, and the murderous intention that made his scalp numb finally receded. Let's all get to know each other. This is the naval scientist, Caesar Carrant. Lucifer pointed at Caesar and introduced his identity, Don't look at him like this. He is a natural gas fruit ability user, and he is very powerful. Sure enough, he is also a natural type. When he took action just now, Inaloo had already seen Caesar's ability. Hey, goat, do you want to have a fight to see which one is stronger, lightning or gas? Thunder and lightning appeared on Inaloo's body, crackling with fighting spirit. No, no need. I give up. Besides, I am a scientist, not a combatant. Caesar's head is still hurting after being hit by Enel just now. How dare you fight him? Although Caesar is a natural ability user, his main focus is on scientific experiments. He usually doesn't pay attention to training his own strength. Once if the fruit ability is restrained, or against a user of armed color hockey, he will be weak immediately. Caesar is the type who relies too much on natural abilities. Speaking of armed color and knowledge color hockey, Caesar's level is not very high, barely. He is barely comparable to the Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters. But when meeting the elite Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters who is proficient in armed color hockey, Caesar will lose more than he wins. After entering the new world, the power of hockey is the key. Of course, Caesar meets Lucifer from now on. It will soon become different. With Lucifer's devilish training, Caesar's strength will soon be completely different. In this way, Lucifer once again gained a natural crew member. The Netherworld continued to move forward, heading towards Dressrosa sets off. A week later, the Netherworld entered the waters of Dressrosa. Dressrosa is a tropical island with a resort style, known as the land of love, passion, and toys. There are a large number of mushroom-shaped rocks on the nearby coast. The island is filled with the fragrance of flowers and is world-famous for its delicacies. Since Doflamingo ruled the country, Dressrosa's fame in the New World has become even greater. Countless people travel here every year. However, the beauty of Dressrosa is only on the surface. Hidden under the beautiful passion is endless darkness. 6 years ago, Doflamingo took over this country with his pirates. From that day on, darkness began, and Dressrosa gradually turned into a land of toys. In fact, those toys were all transformed by humans. Amidst the laughter that fills Dressrosa every day, I don't know how many silent cries and despair are hidden. It's really a bad taste, and he is worthy of being a celestial dragon. Lucifer boarded Dressrosa, looked at the toys all over the street, and shook his head slightly. This was exactly the same as what he saw in the Holy Land Marijoa, and the scene in Dressrosa was simply a replica of Marijoa. Likewise, beautiful on the surface, dirty and evil deep down. Suddenly, Lucifer frowned and his eyes instantly locked in the direction of the palace in the distance. Just now he felt a sense of spying, which was not the feeling of being probed by the domineering power of Giantwents. Is it Violet? Lucifer quickly thought of this woman. Violet was originally the princess of Dressrosa and a superhuman stare fruit user. She can see images from very far away places and can also see through people's hearts. Simple, it's like an enhanced version of clairvoyance. Thinking about the sense of spying just now, it was her secretly spying on you. Captain, do you feel it too? Inaloo looked at Lucifer. Among the people, only Inaloo's domineering power of knowledge and color can rival Lucifer's. He also felt the spying just now. It doesn't matter. It's just a small role. It doesn't matter. What matters is Doflamingo, as long as he doesn't run away. So what if he's discovered? Lucifer had no intention of hiding his traces. He just knocked on the door openly. He's so arrogant. Let's go directly to the palace. Doflamingo should be anxious. The moment he landed on the island, Lucifer's domineering aura had already covered the entire island. Deep in the palace, Lucifer sensed a very powerful aura, which was only slightly weaker than the Admiral. Only one with such strength can Doflamingo arrived. In this way, Lucifer and others headed towards the high ground of Dressrosa Palace. At the same time, Doflamingo, who was in the palace, also received the message that Lucifer had landed in Dressrosa. News from SA. Damn bastard. Did you really find him? In the palace, Doflamingo was so angry that his expression was distorted. The veins on his forehead popped out, and you could see the blood surging. He squeezed hard and crushed the phone bug in his hand into a pulp. Phone bug, the life of a snail, is indeed very dangerous. What now, Dover? With our strength alone, we are no match for Lucifer. Next to him, Toribol had a runny nose and looked a little panicked. The rest of the Don Quixote family members gathered in the palace, waiting for Doflamingo's order. Is it a fight or a retreat? Pass my order, and all personnel evacuate from the underground port. Doflamingo finally gave the order to retreat. He was unwilling, angry, but also helpless. Doflamingo was a hero and acted decisively. He knew that he was no match for Lucifer. He would fight forcefully. You can only die in vain. It is better to retreat as soon as possible and save your vitality. Although Dressrosa has been abandoned for many years, it is not over as long as people are still there. As long as you escape, you will be able to rebuild yourself soon. The forces of Don Quixote made a comeback. The underground port passage was connected to the palace, so the retreat route for Doflamingo and his party was very clear. After the order was issued, the entire Don Quixote family immediately fled towards the underground port. Alas, are you about to run away? Too spineless, right? Lucifer, who was advancing, suddenly showed a playful smile. His domineering aura of knowledge had always enveloped the palace, and he could naturally detect their escape. Come on, it's time for them to see the power of God. Enelu twisted his neck, and electric light flashed on the surface of his body. No, let the maid take action. Lucifer stopped Enelu and looked at Baby 5. Baby 5, you can do it. Use the new power I gave you. Leave it to me, Captain Lucifer. Baby 5 spit out the cigarette she was holding in her mouth, jumped up, and jumped to the roof of a tall building nearby. She bent down, and her upper body softened into a huge cannon barrel, aiming at the palace in the distance. There were many complex lines on the surface of the cannon barrel. The muzzle rotates, energy accumulates rapidly, and the muzzle emits a dazzling blue light. Pluto cannon. Boom. Finally, after the energy was accumulated, a blue energy beam shot out from the muzzle, instantly leaping thousands of meters and hitting the palace in the distance. Boom. There was a big explosion in the Highland Palace, and it instantly turned into a huge fireball. Flames shot up into the sky, directly forming a huge mushroom cloud. The Highland Palace was shattered by a cannon, and the ground collapsed and sunken. Wherever the energy beam hit, rocks were melted into magma, and even steel was melted into molten iron. The shock wave generated by the explosion swept across, and the storm spread across half of Dressrosa. When the people on the island saw the explosion in the palace, they all fell into panic, screaming and shouting in fear, and fled in all directions. Alas, the power is really good. Lucifer looked at the huge fireball in the distance and exclaimed in admiration. His hard work in snatching the Pluto design from Frankie was not in vain. After combining the Baby 5 weapon fruit with the Pluto design, the power is really incomparable. The power of the energy beam just now was not even comparable to Lucifer's flash bomb. Although it is a bit exaggerated to destroy an island with one shot, it is indeed easy to destroy a palace with one shot. In the future, as Baby 5's personal strength becomes stronger, sooner or later you can destroy an island with one shot. The maid's version of Pluto's weapon is truly worthy of its reputation. Lucifer patted Baby 5 on the shoulder. She had changed from the barrel form back to the human form. Well done, Lord Lucifer. This is all thanks to Lord Lucifer's help. It is my honor to serve Lord Lucifer. After receiving Lucifer's appreciation, Baby 5 blushed and deeply felt the happiness of being needed. Behind Lucifer, there were Anello, Cavendish, Jack, and Caesar. After seeing the palace that was razed to the ground in front of them, also looked dull. Jack and Caesar were okay. After all, they were not familiar with Baby 5 and didn't know her true combat power. But Enel and Cavendish were shocked. They got along with Baby 5. It's been a few months, and I can say that I'm very familiar with it. Baby 5 has always been the weakest among the Nether Pirates. But seeing this blow just now, Baby 5's weakest status is about to be overturned. Baby 5's true strength has obviously surpassed them. Imagination. Hey, maid. When did you become so strong? You are quite capable, Baby 5. You are so well hidden. When did you learn this trick? There are no signs at all. But as a member of the Netherworld Pirates, It is only natural to do such a thing. Ha 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 ha. Seeing Enel and Cavendish in a lively atmosphere, the newly joined Caesar was so frightened that he broke into a cold sweat. I thought that there were only two monsters in the Nether Pirates, Lucifer and Enel, but I didn't expect that even the humble maid was actually so strong. At this moment, Caesar was very happy to have joined the Netherworld Pirates. Having a group of monsters as companions made him feel extremely at ease. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the palace that was in flames in the distance. Cavendish murmured to himself, Doflamingo's group won't be killed by one cannon, right? If that's the case, then we'll save ourselves the trouble. No, Doflamingo is not such a weak guy, Jack said firmly. As a former rear admiral, he knows the villains of the Shichibukai very well. If Doflamingo was killed so easily, he would not be recruited by the world's government. Coming. Lucifer's pupils shrank. He saw countless cold lights suddenly shining in the sea of fire. The cold lights crisscrossed, like sharp slashes, instantly slicing the sea of fire. Then several figures jumped out from the sea of fire. It was Tang, the cadres of the Quixote family. The leader is Doflamingo in a pink coat, followed by Diamante, Pica, and several other cadres, a total of 6 people. Of course, there are more than 100 cadres of the Quixote family. There were 6 of them, and the others didn't come out, so they naturally died in the hands of Baby 5. Bastard, you are really bullying. Doflamingo fell from the sky and saw Lucifer and his group on the rooftop in the distance. His expression was distorted, and his whole body was shaking with anger. The underground port had been completely destroyed by the cannon just now, and their way back had been cut off. You go deal with the others. Leave Doflamingo to me. Lucifer gave the order, and the moment the voice sounded, he had already disappeared on the roof. Phew! The black shadow flashed away, and Lucifer appeared in front of Doflamingo in the sky as if teleporting. Hey, this is the first time we meet, Doflamingo. How was the meeting ceremony just now? My maid did it. The power is pretty good, right? Sigh. You look a little ugly. Is it constipation? Killing to kill the heart. This is naked killing to kill the heart. Baby 5 was originally Doflamingo's subordinate, and was later snatched away by Lucifer. Now Lucifer used the snatched Baby 5 to deal with him, and killed several of him officer. Doflamingo was so angry that he almost burst into tears, and almost spit out a mouthful of old blood. Has that woman actually become so strong? Doflamingo glanced at Baby 5 in the distance, a little unbelievable. Baby 5 used to be at the bottom of the Don Quixote family in terms of combat power, but Lucifer would not lie to him, and at this point, Lucifer did not lie either. His necessity. If he had known that Baby 5 had such potential, he would have paid more attention to anything he said. Unfortunately, it is too late now. It's just a maid. If you want it, I'll give it to you. I won't care. She's going to die soon anyway. Doflamingo will not show his unwillingness and anger. He is used to hiding his true emotions with hideous laughter. Even if he is unwilling, he cannot show it in front of Lucifer. Lucifer, let me meet you and see if you are as strong as others say. 5-colored thread. Doflamingo grabbed it with 5 fingers and shot out 5 colorful thin threads towards Lucifer. Disappear. Lucifer didn't dodge, he just said softly, and the 5 colored lines he shot disappeared instantly. Gravity crushes. Lucifer pressed lightly with his fingers, and Doflamingo was instantly attacked by gravity. He fell rapidly into the sky, smashing a huge hole in the earth. Lucifer fell from the sky, pointed his palm at the hole and grabbed it, everything. Tianyin. Doflamingo, who was vomiting blood, was immediately captured by Lucifer. Shinra Tianjung. A repulsive force mixed with the domineering force of external weapons hit Doflamingo, knocking him away on the spot. Doflamingo turned into a cannonball, knocking down more than a dozen buildings along the way, and finally fell to the ground. It slid for hundreds of meters before stopping. With this blow, Doflamingo was knocked thousands of meters away by Lucifer. The battle had just begun, and it was already one-sided. Doflamingo emerged from the ruins. He got up, vomiting blood, and his chest was sunken. He was obviously seriously injured. Hey, Doflamingo, this is not all you can do. right? If you only have this ability, you will be dead with the next move. Lucifer teleported to the sky above Doflamingo's head, looking down at him from a high position. Those cold and ruthless eyes made Doflamingo feel cold all over. Stop! Suddenly, an extremely harsh scream came from behind. Immediately afterwards, the ground shook violently, and the entire Dressrosa was shaking. The ground suddenly bulged, and a huge stone giant slowly took shape. One of the hand is as big as a small town. It is Pika. He is a person with the stone fruit ability and can control all the stones he comes into contact with. The stone palace under Doflamingo's feet was specially built for Pika. Battlefield. Go to hell, Lucifer. Pika's huge palm fell from the sky, covering the sky and the sun, and struck Lucifer. Boom. Suddenly, a thick lightning fell from the sky, instantly piercing Pika's huge palm and blowing it off. Ainalu appearing in front of the stone giant. Sissy, your opponent is me, don't get me wrong. Boom. A thunder dragon roared out and hit the stone giant's head, blowing his head to pieces on the spot. With Enel blocking him, Pika couldn't protect himself, and it was impossible to support Doflamingo. It seems that you still have a few loyal subordinates. Lucifer looked at Doflamingo and smiled coldly. Bah, 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 of course they are all my family. Doflamingo wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and the ground under his feet instantly turned into a thin white line. The devil fruit awakened and was finally used. When the Superman devil fruit awakens, it will affect the things around him. Now, all the surrounding buildings and land turned into white lines, controlled by Doflamingo. The battle has just begun. It's too early to say who will lose and who will win. Wild waves and white lines. Doflamingo waved his hand, and tens of thousands of white threads under his feet suddenly rose into the sky, forming a wave-like raging attack and attacking Lucifer. Disappear. Lucifer still refused to dodge. He raised his hand and pointed, and the white line tsunami that hit him disappeared immediately. What? How can it be? Doflamingo's eyes widened. Although he learned from the Navy headquarters that Lucifer is a user with the ability to speak the spirit fruit, he can affect the enemy's fruit ability, or even eliminate the fruit ability. But he did not expect that he would use the awakening after having the ability. Lucifer can still eliminate his ability so easily. This means that the strength gap between him and Lucifer is very large, so the word spirit fruit can exert such a powerful effect. In front of Lucifer, his ability all failed, so what's the point of fighting? Gravity crushes. At the moment when Doflamingo was distracted, Lucifer had already launched an offensive. Another strong force of gravity pressed on Doflamingo, forcing him to lie on the ground. As Lucifer pressed down with his fingers, the earth moved every inch. The cracks spread in all directions. Doflamingo's head was pressed into the mud, and he felt that his brain, blood, bones, and every inch of flesh and blood in his body were suppressed by gravity. A feeling of extreme humiliation, gripping hard Doflamingo's heart, is tight. You know, he is a celestial dragon. Although he is a fallen celestial dragon, Doflamingo is still extremely proud. He is a descendant of God, the most noble race in the world, and he has never suffered such humiliation. Endless rage burned in Doflamingo's heart, but no matter how loudly he roared, he could not break away from the gravity pressing on his back. At this moment, not only was he physically trampled by Lucifer, but his self-esteem and pride were also. He was beaten to pieces by Lucifer. Boom. Finally, with a loud noise, the earth collapsed, revealing a bottomless abyss. Doflamingo fell powerlessly into the abyss, blood spurting from his body, and he had no idea how many bones were broken. Lucifer, damn you bastard, I won't die so easily. Go to hell. 16 rounds of sacred bullets and divine killing. Doflamingo used his last bit of strength to control the surrounding white threads to rise into the sky, turning into 16 thick and sharp white threads. The white threads were wrapped with high-density armed colors, which could easily pierce a small building. Island. Mahamudra of the Sage. Lucifer had no expression on his face. He raised his hand slightly, and a huge steel palm with a diameter of more than 100 meters suddenly condensed in the sky above his head. The palm was also covered with high-density armed domineering energy. Boom! With a palm falling, Doflaming Brothers' 16 sacred bullets were instantly shattered. Lucifer's armed color hockey has reached its peak, much stronger than Doflamingo. His armed color hockey cannot stop the powerful power of the Sage's big hand seal. The palms pressed down layer by layer, and the endless white lines were crushed layer by layer. Boom! A shocking loud noise shook the sky. The entire Dressrosa Island shook violently, and a powerful shock wave erupted to sweep away in all directions. Lucifer's feet, the town has been shattered, and a huge palm print appears in front of the world. Lucifer waved his hand, and the steel palm shattered and dissipated. At the same time, the surrounding white lines turned back into stone, and the system's notification sounded in Lucifer's mind. Ding! The host killed the pirate Don Quixote Doflamingo and obtained 120,000 killing points. Doflamingo is worthy of being a strong man at the level of Quasi-Admiral, with a net worth of 120,000, which is Lucifer's highest single kill gain so far. The last one was the elite Vice Admiral Doberman of the Navy headquarters, worth 85,000 kill points, and Doflamingo Flamingo was far behind. Lucifer looked under the palm print, and Doflamingo's body could no longer be found there. Under the offensive of the Sage's big hand seal, Doflamingo had been destroyed. No bones left. Celestial dragons? Isn't this the first time I've killed a celestial dragon? Lucifer showed a sneer, pointed his palm downwards and grabbed hard. Rebirth. After the words fell, Lucifer immediately grasped an invisible force in the palm of his hand. Soon, a white devil fruit was reborn in Lucifer's hand. The Superman line fruit. This devil fruit is in the Superman line. In fact, it is not top-notch, but Doflamingo developed it to perfection and even reached the state of awakening. It can only be said that it was Doflamingo who achieved the thread fruit, not the thread fruit. Doflamingo. Even if Lucifer finds someone else, he will not be able to develop the thread fruit to the level of Doflamingo. Dover. Little Lord. Seeing the tragic death of Doflamingo, Toribol, Pika and other officials were all shocked and screamed and roared. Damn it, damn Lucifer. How dare you put the young master? I kill you. Pika's sissy scream resounded through the sky, and she manipulated the huge stone man to approach Lucifer. Before the fist the size of a town fell, a violent wind was already set off. Before the punch arrives, the wind arrives first, which is interesting. Just kidding, Lucifer showed no mercy. He aimed his palm at the giant stone man and struck out with his palm. Shinra Tianzheng. The high-density armed domineering energy combined with powerful repulsion formed an invisible palm force. The palm force shot out of the air, distorting the space along the way, and instantly hit the huge stone man in the distance. Boom! With one palm hit, the stone giant was directly shattered, turned into rubble scattered all over the sky. Pika's sharp scream sounded. His body was hit by armed color hockey, and the armor all over his body was completely shattered. Hateful. Because the stone giant resisted most of the damage, Pika was not beaten to death with one palm. He still had the last vestige of life left. He wanted to open his eyes and continue to attack Lucifer. But unfortunately, he was seriously injured and dying. All the bones in his body were beaten to pieces, and he was no longer able to fight anymore. Flash ray. The devil's whisper sounded again, and a laser beam instantly penetrated Pika's head and shot to the sea outside the island. Ding! The host killed the pirate Pika and obtained 45,000 killing points. The system prompt sounded, and Lucifer once again gained a wave of killing points. The value of Pika is higher than Diamanti. Lucifer killed Diamanti and only got 30,000 killing points. Attribute panel. Host. Lucifer. Age. 23. Devil fruit. Word spirit fruit. Physique. Hell demon. Armed color hockey. Peak. Wisdom color hockey. Peak. Overlord color hockey. Peak. Killing points. 415000. Kill 2 capable targets in a row. Lucifer's total number of killing points already more than 400,000, reaching 415,000. The number of killing points exceeds 410,000, which is already very close to 1 million. Lucifer glanced at the attribute panel and nodded secretly. There are many powerful pirate groups in the New World, and it won't be long before Lucifer can collect 1 million killing points. By then, Lucifer will be able to purchase the Overlord-colored hockey domain. He really wanted to know how powerful the realm of domineering beyond the Peak realm was. Pika! Lord Pika! At this moment, several shrill screams came from the distance, coming from the remaining cadres of Don Quixote. Seeing that Pika also died tragically in the hands of Lucifer, the remaining Torbol and Sani, or Gladius, and Sugar were all desperate. Run! Torbol was the first to escape, and turned into a big ball of snot and shot away in the distance. As a result, Granu lost his protection. Baby 5 seized the opportunity and blasted Granu to death with one shot. Granu was a superhuman childlike fruit power user with little fighting power. There are only a few toy soldiers around her who have some strength. Because of her powerful fruit power, Doflamingo sent Toribol to protect her personally. Baby 5 previously fired the Pluto cannon. It was under the protection of Torbol that Sugar survived. Now that Torbol has escaped, just a few toy soldiers cannot save her. The moment Sugar died, the ability of the childlike fruit disappeared. The darkness of Dressrosa was revealed. Countless toys in the country have all returned to human form, and all their lost memories have returned. Most of these people are citizens of the country, but there are also many pirates, bounty hunters, and even marine soldiers and CP agents. At this moment, the entire country was filled with extreme hatred for Doflamingo, and countless citizens of Dressrosa roared to seek revenge on Doflamingo. However, Doflamingo brother is dead. Even if they want to find someone to take revenge, they can't find the rightful owner. As for the Navy soldiers and CP agents, they report the situation of Dressrosa to the Navy headquarters and the world government. This time Germany Resrosa didn't have a birdcage to block the signal, so it was easy to send the message back. On the battlefield, Jack stared at the fleeing Torbol and teleported behind him in a flash. It's better not to leave, stay. As soon as he finished speaking, dozens of vacuum slashes penetrated Torbol's body. Although more than a dozen sharp blades passed through Torbol and did not hurt him, the sharp blades still hit Torbol. Hidden body. Toribol screamed, and the disgusting mucus on his body exploded, revealing a skinny and shriveled body. This is the true face of Toribol. He is not a natural ability user. He is just wrapped in mucus all the time. The body was just disguised as a natural type. Jack took advantage of the victory to pursue and used the 6-style shave and the moon step together. The figure flashed away, leaving a vacuum slash. It was the ability to cut fruits, as if it could even cut through space. Rebel's head soared into the sky, and blood spurted from his broken neck, flying half a foot high. On the other side, the battle between Cavendish and Gladius also had a winner. Cavendish released the second the personality Hakuba used his swordsmanship like a gust of wind to leave hundreds of sword wounds on Gladius. Hundreds of sword wounds were formed in an instant. After Hakuba stopped attacking, Gladius only then fell in a pool of blood. As Cavendish became stronger, Hakuba's swordsmanship and cruelty also greatly improved. In addition, Senior, Doflamingo, and others died in the hands of Caesar. All the cadres he brought out were killed, and no one survived. Lucifer flapped his devil wings and floated in the sky, using the power of the word spirit fruit to recover all the devil fruits of these people. Childlike fruit, stone fruit, and sticky fruit, explosive fruit, and water fruit. In addition to Doflamingo's thread fruit, Lucifer harvested a total of 6 devil fruits. In fact, several of the officials who died at the bottom of the palace were also fruit ability users, but they were too far apart. Far away and dead for too long, Lucifer can no longer recover them. But recovering 6 devil fruits is already a great harvest. Phew! Lucifer flapped his devil wings and fell from the sky, landing on the roof of a tall building. Enel, Kawindiish, and others also quickly gathered behind Lucifer. Is this the end? Too simple? Enelu still has some unfinished ideas. It's really easy. It's hard to believe. Jack also felt that it was a bit too simple. Doflamingo is the leader in the Shichibukai. The Navy has been chasing him for several years without success, which shows how strong he is. Now he is so easily killed by the Netherworld pirates. The group was destroyed. It can only be said that it was not that Doflamingo was too weak, but that Lucifer was too strong. Doflamingo, the strongest, was crushed in the face of Lucifer and was beaten to pieces in just a few moves. No survival. Without Doflamingo, the rest of the cadres will naturally collapse. At this point, another king of the Shichibukai has fallen, and the Don Quixote family has been declared dead. At the same time, the Navy headquarters and the world government also received many news of Flamenco's defeat. Bang! In the marshal's office, Sengoku slapped his desk into pieces. Is it that bastard Lucifer again? I should have thought of it earlier. Previously, Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel sent back news that the Nether pirates appeared in the waters near Punk Hatha Island and kidnapped the renegade scientist Caesar. Punk Hatha Island is very close to Dressrosa, and Lucifer likes to hunt powerful people. As is the habit of pirates, the next target is obviously Doflamingo. Now that Doflamingo has been defeated, it is too late for them to receive the news. Tisk, what's there to be nervous about? It's a good thing that Doflamingo was defeated. Killing him 10 times for what he did to Dressrosa is not enough. You should be happy that there is one less scum on the sea, warring states period. On the sofa nearby, Lieutenant General Garp laughed. Not only did the Navy soldiers in Dressrosa return the news that Doflamingo had been defeated, they also reported the darkness in Dressrosa to the Navy headquarters. Now the Navy headquarters knows what Doflamingo has done. Manipulating citizens, selling weapons, leading wars, killing the Navy, and controlling the country are all heinous crimes, enough to make Doflamingo lose the name of the Shichibukai. Of course I know that Doflamingo's death is not a pity, but he is the Shichibukai, and on the surface he is the power of the Navy. After this incident, the prestige of the Shichibukai will definitely be affected. One Moria is missing and has not yet been added, and now Doflamingo has also been defeated. The majesty of the Shichibukai has been trampled down by Lucifer and is worthless. What Sengoku is worried about is not Doflamingo, but the Shichibukai. After Doflamingo's incident is exposed, it will inevitably have a blow to the majesty of the king's Shichibukai. As a force that balances the sea, the role of the king's Shichibukai it is very large and very important to the Navy. If the Shichibu Sea loses its deterrence, the pirates on the sea will become more unscrupulous, and the Navy will suffer losses by then. It's too late to send someone over now. Let's think about how to deal with this matter first, right? This kind of behavior of wiping the butt of pirates really made Sengoku feel uncomfortable, but he had to do it. I'm afraid it's too late to cover up the news. Now we can only use the old method. Lieutenant General, he said calmly. That's all it can do. Sengoku let out a deep sigh. The so-called old method is to fabricate facts and replace the facts, transfer the credit for defeating Doflamingo to the Navy, and announce to the world that it was the Navy that exposed Doflamingo's secrets. Crime. In order to show the justice of the Navy removed Doflamingo from the king's Shichibukai and sent troops to eradicate him. In this way, Doflamingo's incident will not have an impact on the Navy. The Navy also we can use this matter to save our face. And through some public opinion, we can minimize the impact of this incident. The methods of politicians are extremely dirty. The Navy headquarters and the world government have long been proficient in the use of such dirty methods. However, Lucifer once again did something big, which made Zengwa feel relaxed again. He hadn't been clean for a few days, but Lucifer made trouble again. If this continues, no matter how superb teacher Tony's craftsmanship is, it can't save his white hair. Holy Land of Draco, Mary Joa. Mary Joa has not yet completed its reconstruction after being invaded by Lucifer. Only the huge Panga city in the center has been preserved, standing in ruins. In the Panga City Palace, the 5 old stars have also received the news that Doflamingo was killed by Lucifer. This kid's movements were really fast. Another Shichibukai perished in his hands. The blonde 5 old star stood by the window. His tone was calm. This was originally the purpose of Sengoku, letting him enter the new world. According to Lucifer's mad dog-like character, he will soon confront the 4 emperors, and then the Navy will be able to reap the benefits. But there are advantages and disadvantages. Mad dogs bite people regardless of their status. Doflamingo is proof of that. If we are not careful, we will be the ones injured. The curly-haired 5-old star glanced at him, revealing a cold glow. It would be good for us if Doflamingo died, so that no one would know the secrets he held. The sword-wielding 5-old stars wiped the sword in their hands, not caring about Doflamingo's death. What about Lucifer? Is it possible that he knows Doflamingo's secret? The long-bearded 5-old star asked with his eyes wide open. Impossible. Lucifer has no reason to do this, and it is impossible for him to know that this secret exists. The 5 bald stars affirmed. That's fine, but Doflamingo is a celestial dragon after all, and we can't remain indifferent even if he dies. Coupled with Lucifer's previous crime of invading the Holy Land, this harmful element must be eradicated with all his strength. There is a lot of pressure from the Tianlong people. The sword-wielding 5 old stars retracted their swords, and a killing intent burst out in their eyes. Sengoku said that he was preparing a plan. Could he just leave it to the Navy? Warring States is stalling for time. Judging from his performance, he will not cause trouble to Lucifer in a short time. The blonde 5 old stars shook their heads, and the others also agreed. The 5 old stars are all old Inbi who have dominated the world's government for many years. How can they not see the delaying tactics of the Warring States period? But Lucifer's strength is indeed terrifying, and the 5 old stars are really terrifying. The old stars also understood the Warring States period's approach of making decisions before taking action. But the Tianlong people had been putting pressure on them, so the 5 old stars had to take corresponding actions. The Tianlong people group includes many large families, and the 5 old stars are just their chosen spokespersons. If their performance cannot satisfy the celestial dragons, their status may be affected. This invasion of the Holy Land caused great losses to many celestial dragon families. The 5 old stars must take powerful actions to appease the celestial dragon's revengeful emotions. Let's send CP0 out. Those old guys haven't taken action in many years. If they don't use it, they will completely lose their use value. Let them play their last role before they die of old age. The blonde 5 old star suggested. Okay, let's do it. Seconded. After Wuloxing's order was issued, several agents wearing masks walked out of a secret base underground in Panga City. They all had powerful auras and terrifying strength. The agents lined up on both sides saw the 3 people approaching, and hurriedly they lowered their heads, held their breath, and did not dare to make the slightest sound. These 3 people are the most cold-blooded agents trained by the world's government. No, they should be said to be killing machines. They not only kill their enemies, but also their own people. Let's go. One of them gave the order. Then, the 3 of them left the Holy Land with hundreds of CP agents. The distant New World, Dressrosa. Of course, Lucifer didn't know that his killing of Doflamingo had shocked the Navy headquarters, and the world's government sent troops to hunt him down. At this moment, he is enjoying the joy after the war. The Nether pirates found a relatively intact place and were having a banquet. Captain, where do we go next? At the banquet, Anilu ate the meat with bones, and his mouth was full of oil. His fighting spirit was still high, and he wanted to find more powerful opponents. He had long heard that there were hidden dragons and crouching tigers in the New World, and there were so many masters. Anilu can't wait to fight more powerful opponents and become stronger from the battle. Let's rest for a few days. I've been sailing these days, and I'm going to vomit. Dressrosa is a good place. There are many beauties, especially the dancers, who are very good at dancing and very enthusiastic. Captain, let's play here for a while. Cavendish was holding a glass of red wine, his eyes shining. Hey, Cavendish is right. I agree with his suggestion. Captain Lucifer, let's stay a few more days. When Caesar heard that there was a beautiful woman, he immediately showed a wretched pig-like look on his face. Do you think, under such circumstances, you can still find a dancer to dance with you? Baby 5 glanced into the distance. The entire Dressrosa was in shambles. The people in the country were still in a state of panic and fled in all directions. If there is no one to lead, it will take a long time to calm down the panic in the country. Rebuild the country. It takes a lot of time. In this case, those happy places are closed. Upon hearing this, Cavendish and Caesar immediately became depressed. At this moment, the familiar spying feeling came again. Enelu frowned, showing a hint of murderous intention. Is that woman not dead yet? It feels very uncomfortable to be spied on. Enel hates this feeling. She came here in person. Can you just ask her? Lucifer said lightly. Soon, a series of footsteps sounded, and a group of 4 people came from a distance. The leader was a muscular old man, followed by 2 women and a man with a broken foot. Among them a woman was Violet, who was the first to discover Lucifer's whereabouts using the gaze fruit. Violet had long known about the enmity between Lucifer and Doflamingo, and knew that Lucifer had landed in Dressrosa. She was not kind, so she did not tell Doflamingo the news, but hid early. Only after the battle was over, she dared to reveal her whereabouts. At the same time, she also recovered her own memory, and she and King Riku and Cyrus, Rebecca and others recognized each other. Then they came together to find Lucifer. Doflamingo was defeated by Lucifer, and Dressrosa is still under Lucifer's control. If they want to return to take the throne and rule this country, Lucifer's opinion must be sought. Your Excellency Lucifer, I am Violet. I have known you for a long time. Violet was humble in front of Lucifer. What's up? Lucifer asked calmly. I want to know what Lord Lucifer thinks about Dressrosa. If you want to rule this country, my father is willing to give up the throne. I only ask that your Excellency Lucifer can treat the people of this country well. His Majesty King Riku, this. As soon as these words came out, Cyrus next to him was immediately shocked. Never mind, Cyrus, that's what I mean. King Riku shook his head, indicating that it didn't matter. There was a hint of fatigue on his old face. This old king was very self-aware. They couldn't even resist Doflamingo, and naturally they couldn't resist the stronger Lucifer. At this moment, it is a wise move to give up the throne to protect the people. King Rika loves his people very much, and can be said to be one of the few people-oriented kings in the Grand Line. But unfortunately, his kindness has no place in this world where the jungle is strong and the jungle is strong. It will only put his country in danger. Lucifer glanced at the 4 people and said lightly, I have no interest in ruling this country and will leave soon. But I have a message for you. In this world, kindness is useless. It will only make others think that you are weak and can be bullied. If you want to protect the people, the only way is to increase your strength. In this sea of jungle, only strength is eternal. King Riku was slightly startled, with a complicated expression, and then he sighed deeply. Maybe you are right. King Riku and his party left. They were going to save this country that was riddled with holes. Under the leadership of King Riku, Dressrosa will surely be able to regain its vitality and be reborn soon. But as Lucifer said, without strong force to guard them, Dressrosa will never be able to achieve true peace. Maybe Dressrosa will be even more dangerous in the future. Doflamingo existed in Dressrosa before, and all pirates they didn't dare to come here to cause trouble. But after losing Doflamingo's deterrence, the pirates dared to come here boldly to plunder. But these are none of Lucifer's business. Lucifer came here just to hunt and kill Doflamingo. Flamenco. As for saving the country, he has no interest in doing it. In other words, Lucifer staying in this country will bring disaster to this country. The Navy headquarters and the world government hate him to the core. In order to eliminate Lucifer, they will even issue a demon-slaying order. By then, the island of Dressrosa will disappear from the map. Come on, it's time to leave. After the banquet, Lucifer and others set sail again. The Netherworld left the port of Dressrosa, embarked on the journey again, and disappeared into the boundless sea. In the cabin of the Netherworld, Lucifer took out the 6 devil fruits harvested this time. Line fruit, childlike fruit, stone fruit, sticky fruit, exploding fruit, and water fruit. Including Lucifer's original saber-tooth fruit, transparent fruit, and gate fruit. Lucifer now has a total of 9 devil fruits. The system recycles childlike fruits, sticky fruits, explosive fruits, and watery fruits. Lucifer gave instructions in his heart. Ding, the childlike fruit, sticky fruit, exploding fruit, and watery fruit have been recovered, and 60,000 killing points have been obtained. The electronic sound of the system sounded, and the total number of Lucifer's killing points reached 475,000. Among the 4 fruits recovered, the sticky fruit and the water fruit are the most useless. The exploding fruits are SOSO and can only turn inorganic substances into bombs. These 3 fruits are used to train cadres, and they cannot quickly increase their combat power in a short period of time. The ability of the childlike fruit is unbelievable. It can turn people into toys and erase memories as long as they are touched. Theoretically, even admirals and even the 4 emperors cannot resist this power. But theories are always theories. Thinking of using the childlike fruit to defeat the admiral or the 4 emperors can only be said to be a daydream. This fruit is very good for making puppets, but Lucifer does not need it. Puppet can only turn system recycling into a killing point. The last thread fruit and stone fruit were left behind by Lucifer. If these 2 devil fruits meet qualified people, they can quickly develop 2 powerful combat powers. Although the thread fruit cannot encounter another Doflamingo, Doflamingo still exists, and the reputation of this fruit is still great. The thread fruit, the stone fruit, the saber-tooth tiger fruit, and the transparent fruit. Lucifer now has 4 powerful devil fruits in his hands. Attribute panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit. Word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed color hockey. Peak. Wisdom color hockey. Peak. Overlord color hockey. Peak. Killing points, 475000. It is still far away from 1 million kill points. It seems that we must seize the time to find stronger targets. Lucifer glanced at the attribute panel and already started to choose his next prey. There are countless powerful pirate groups in the New World, and there are plenty of prey. As long as Lucifer is willing to take the time to find them, he will have no worries about killing spots. News about Doflamingo being defeated it quickly spread throughout the world, but it had been tampered with by the Navy headquarters and turned into a vice admiral who suppressed Doflamingo. Doflamingo was removed from the Shichibukai for selling weapons and controlling the country and took back all power. Under the joint control of the Navy headquarters and the world government, this matter was quickly confirmed. Only some great pirates and underground kings in the New World know that the person who truly defeated Doflamingo was Lucifer. Because of this, some big pirates and underground kings have a sense of fear. Lucifer's evil reputation has spread all over the world, and pirates are more afraid of Lucifer than the Navy. Because Lucifer's road to fame was built with the corpses of countless pirates. Just after entering the New World, I killed a Shichibukai. Whose turn will it be next? The Navy's methods are really disgusting. Can you call yourself just like this? On the deck of the Netherworld, Cavendish looked at the newspaper in his hand and couldn't help showing disgust. Boo, this is the usual style of the Navy. It's nothing new. I've long been used to it. Caesar sat aside and laughed harshly. As a former naval scientist, he has seen such things countless times. The world's government has also conducted many illegal experiments. Once they fail or cause negative consequences, they will be punished. The crime was placed on the pirates. That's right. Sometimes the Navy will do whatever it takes to cover up the truth and deceive the world. Former Rear Admiral Jack is obviously very familiar with the Navy's style of conduct. Okay, the Navy is none of our business. Your top priority is to improve your strength. If you don't become stronger quickly, you will be eliminated soon. After that, Lucifer made a sound, and the gravity field doubled in an instant. Enel, Cavendish, Jack, and Caesar were pressed down on the deck at the same time. Especially the newly joined Caesar. He had not yet been accustomed to the hell training method of the Nether pirates. His consciousness was almost crushed by gravity. Looking at their painful expressions and miserable wails, Lucifer felt very good. After creating a gravity training environment, Lucifer continued to read the newspaper. Knew the world situation is changing rapidly, and it is important to understand intelligence. And if you want to find suitable targets for hunting, you also need to learn from newspapers. News of the New World spreads very quickly, and some big pirates will be reported by newspapers as long as there is the slightest hint of trouble. Exposure. Just like the traffic star in Lucifer's previous life, he can be trending even after eating chewing gum. Baby 5. Pour me a glass of red wine and cook a barbecue for 100 people. Yes, Captain Lucifer. After hearing the order, Baby 5, the only untrained one, immediately went to serve Lucifer with a shy look. Baby 5 is now trained by Lucifer to be the firepower of the Netherworld pirates. She just needs to speed up to become familiar with the weapons on the Pluto battleship. There is no need to train as hard as Enel and the others. When the made version of Iron Man is completely updated, it will surely shock the whole world. Lucifer, who was reading the newspaper, suddenly stopped. A piece of news in the newspaper caught his attention. Whitebeard 2 destroyed Gordon Island, causing a large number of civilian deaths. Finally, there is news about this guy. Lucifer looked at the photo of Whitebeard 2 in the newspaper, with an evil sneer on his lips. Lucifer originally planned to recruit a few more crew members in the new world. Caesar was an unexpected gain and was not part of his original plan. This Whitebeard 2 Edward Weeble is the crew member Lucifer originally wanted to recruit. This guy is very strong. Although I don't know if he is Whitebeard's biological son, his monster physique is indeed comparable to that of his youth, on par with Whitebeard. And he is easy to control. As long as he gets rid of his dwarf mother, Edward Weeble will always be obedient. Gordon Island is not very far from here. Lucifer glanced at the date on the newspaper. This incident happened yesterday. If we rush to Gordon Island now, Whitebeard 2 might not have left yet. Closing the newspaper, Lucifer immediately controlled the Netherworld to change its course. Under Lucifer's control, the Netherworld sailed very fast and disappeared into the boundless sea in a short time. One day later, Gordon Island Palace. Boom, boom, boom. Several loud noises erupted from the palace and echoed around. Clouds of black smoke rose into the sky, and the palace was filled with flames. In the firelight, a huge figure over 6 meters tall and almost 7 meters tall was waving a huge naginata. Every time the sword fell, it released a huge sword energy, destroying the palace walls of the palace. There were nearly 1,000 guards guarding the palace, but they were all defeated by the monster at this moment. On the ground behind the monster, countless corpses were lying in various directions. This monster is Whitebeard 2, Edward Weeble. Stop him. Everyone come together. Don't be afraid. The leader of the guard held a huge machete and roared angrily. We are the well-trained guards of the Kingdom of Gordon, and we have sworn allegiance to His Majesty the King. Today is the time for us to dedicate ourselves. For the sake of His Majesty the King, we must defeat this hateful pirate. Inspired by the leader of the escort, the remaining soldiers of the escort gathered their courage and rushed towards Weeble. The soldiers in the rear fired at the same time, shooting countless bullets. But the bullets hit Weeble's body, not even his skin, broken, leaving only a few white marks. It hurts, you bad guys. Weeble has a simple mind and will yell when he feels the slightest pain in his body. He swings the naginata and slashes down angrily, knocking away all the hundreds of guards blocking the front. More than a dozen people were hit in the front by the naginata. A guard was directly cut in half. The leader of the guard gritted his teeth and took action himself, but was defeated by Weeble with a knife, and the knife and the man were split into 2 halves. The leader of the guard died in the battle, and the remaining soldiers of the guard immediately lost the battle. The courage to flee in panic. Mom, the enemies have been defeated and you can come in. Seeing that the enemy was repelled, Weeble quickly shouted to the back. Immediately afterwards, a short dwarf old woman came out from behind. She was Weeble's mother, Miss Jean, who claimed to be Whitebeard's lover. Ha ha ha, well done my son, you are indeed the best. The old woman laughed wildly, and her twisted and ugly face was simply disgusting. But she didn't feel it at all, and walked into the palace with Weeble in a swagger. The Kingdom of Gordon is just a small country, and it is not a member of the world's official government. The national power is very weak. When Weeble invaded, the king had already fled with the queen and prince, leaving only an empty palace and castle. But people could run away, but there was no time to take away the treasure. Miss Jean had an arrogant and domineering character and was ambitious. Bobo is a woman who loves money extremely. She asked Weeble to break into the palace in order to plunder the treasures in the palace. Yesterday, Ba Jin had asked Weibel to destroy a small town on Gordon Island and plunder a lot of treasures. But Ba Jin was still not satisfied, and took Weibel into the palace the next day, which showed how greedy this woman was. From the outside, Miss Ba Jin was a dwarf, and it was impossible to give birth to Weibel, who was nearly 7 meters tall. So many people it is believed that Weibel is not the son of Miss Ba Jin. Ba Jin only regards Weibel as a tool and uses him to plunder treasures. After entering the palace, Miss Ba Jin quickly found the location of the palace vault. The door to the treasury was split open by Weibel with a knife. Looking at the gleaming golden treasure inside, Miss Ba Jin suddenly beamed with joy, and his eyes almost popped out of his head. Ha 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 ha, good job, my son. This is another big harvest. Ba Jin walked into the treasury, put several strands of gold necklaces around her neck, and put on 20 rings on the 10 fingers of both hands. If her fingers were longer, she would be able to wear 30 rings. Just be happy, Mom. Weibel obeyed Miss Ba Jin's words and would obey Ba Jin's orders unconditionally. Just when Ba Jin was immersed in the joy of harvesting treasures, suddenly an indifferent voice rang in his ears. You can only choose between money and life. Which one will you choose? Ba Jin was shocked, and his face changed drastically. Just as he was about to turn around, his body was hit hard and he was shot out uncontrollably. Ba Jin smashed through the wall of the vault, penetrated 3 walls in a row, and was finally buried by a pile of rubble. Mother! Seeing Ba Jin being beaten away, Weibel was immediately furious. Just as he was about to take action, a strong force of gravity suddenly pressed on him. Bang! Weibel's body of nearly 7 meters collapsed, and his head hit the ground and smashed the rocky ground. Suppressed by gravity, Weibel could not move and could only roar. Who is it? Who are you? Come out faster. It hurts so much. Mom, where are you? Weibel's face was covered with blood. His head was buried in the ground. He was yelling, tears and runny nose came out. At this time, Lucifer came from a distance and stepped on Weibel. Boom! The gravity increased again, and Lucifer's feet the ground was violent every inch, and cracks spread like spider webs. The bones in Weibel's body creaked, and the screams became even more shrill. Phew! Suddenly, a flash of lightning passed away. Enel came behind Lucifer, and he was in his hand. He was also holding an old dwarf woman with blood on her face and a weak breath. She was Miss Ba Jin. Captain, the men have been brought. Enelu threw Ba Jin at Lucifer's feet. This woman's strength was a bit beyond Lucifer's expectations. Not only did she not die under the blow just now, but she also maintained the last trace of consciousness. Legend has it that she was once with Whitebeard and I have been in the Rocks Pirates, so I think I have some strength. Road, Lucifer. Ba Jin was unconscious, but he could vaguely see Lucifer's face and recognized her identity. Seeing Lucifer, Miss suddenly felt infinite fear in her heart. Lucifer's evil reputation was well known to the world, and it fell into his hands. Here, it almost never ends well. I won't say any more nonsense, just leave Weibel to me, and you can live. Lucifer said indifferently. Good, okay, I agree. Miss Ba Jin was greedy for life and feared death, so she agreed without thinking. She looked at Weibel at Lucifer's feet and shouted with her last strength, Weibel, from today on, you will follow this man and listen to his words. Whatever he says, you have to do it. Alas, why? Mother? Weibel's physical strength is worthy of being comparable to that of young Whitebeard. Under Lucifer's supergravity, he still remained awake. Although he screamed in pain, he did not lose consciousness. And judging by his breath, even now, even if the gravity was doubled, he would not be able to lose consciousness. Such a super-strong body was far beyond that of Enel and Cavendish. In addition to his own demonic physique, Weibel's physique was the strongest he had ever seen. Strong. Don't ask why, just listen to me. Facing Lucifer, Miss Ba Jin was submissive and frightened. But facing Wei Buer, she was bossy and punched hard. When Ba Jin was angry, Wei Buer quickly responded, I know, Mom. Wei Buer will obedient. For Ba Jin, Weibel really obeyed his words. Okay, this is my good son. Ba Jin showed a humble begging smile to Lucifer. Is it okay? Lord Lucifer. Looking at her twisted and ugly old face, Lucifer almost vomited. It was so disgusting. With a hook of his finger, a powerful repulsive force erupted, and he was hit outside the palace. She did not dare to stay here, and quickly dragged away the serious injury. The body fled into the distance. Miss Ba-Jin was reborn after the disaster, and there was a resentment in his heart. Although he dared not say it on the surface, he already hated Lucifer in his heart. Just wait, Lucifer. I won't let you go. Weibel is my tool, and only I can use it. If you dare to hurt the white-bearded woman, you are dead. Perhaps he has been deceiving others for so long that he has deceived himself. Until now, Miss Ba-Jin still thinks that she is the woman with white beard. In this regard, Lucifer can only say that this woman has lost her mind. Whitebeard, what kind of person is he? What kind of woman does he want but can't find? Even Big Mom would be very willing to have children with Beard. You know, Big Mom had a very hot figure and good looks when he was young. But even if Whitebeard is blind, he will not look at someone like Ba-Jin. However, Lucifer is also curious about what kind of monster Whitebeard and Big Mom will be if they really have a child. Whitebeard's physique combined with Big Mom's with his physique. This pirate will really become the most terrifying monster on the sea. However, being beaten by Miss Ba-Jin like this can be regarded as Whitebeard's biggest black history. Phew. At this moment, a vacuum slash suddenly appeared. Behind Ba-Jin's neck was instantly scratched. Ba-Jin's ugly head broke away from his neck and rose into the sky, and blood spurted 3 feet from the fracture. The scene in Ba-Jin's eyes quickly hung upside down, and a trace of unwillingness poured into his mind. Finally, as his consciousness slowly dissipated, she fell into darkness. Before Ba-Jin could react, she was already dead. In the distance, Jack retracted his palm. Looking at Miss Ba-Jin's ugly face, he almost vomited out his overnight meal. I was impulsive, and I should have let you take action. Jack shook his head and said, Are you kidding? My Durandal will not kill such a disgusting woman. Cavendish's sword Durandal is a rare famous sword. He would not use his sword to kill Ba-Jin. It is too disgusting. From the beginning to the end, Lucifer had no intention of letting Ba-Jin live. Convincing Weibel is her only use value, after squeezing out the last use value, will naturally send her to death. On the other side, Lucifer released the gravity field. Weibel crawled out of the pit, except for a few scratches on his body, not even a broken bone. My name is Lucifer and I will be your captain from today on. Don't worry about anything else, just follow my orders. Lucifer looked at Weibel and said, Yes, Captain Lucifer. Weibel obeyed Lucifer's words. With Ba-Jin's persuasion, it is so simple to conquer Weibel. Let's go. Get out of here first. Lucifer turned and left. Captain Lucifer, where's Mom? Weibel asked nervously as he followed Lucifer. She went to see your father. Lucifer replied expressionlessly. Yeah? Do I have a dad? Yes. My mother said that my father has a white beard. My beard is the same as his. Weibel said, pointing to his beard. Maybe. No one knows the answer to this question. Soon, Lucifer brought Weibel back to the netherworld. Baby 5 and Caesar had been waiting for a long time. Seeing Lucifer bringing back a 7-meter-tall monster, both of them were a little surprised. In terms of size, Weibel is indeed the largest among the netherworld pirates. Boom, 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 boom. If this guy is used as an experimental subject to enlarge the human body, the possibility of success is very high. Caesar looked at Weibel, his eyes shining. The world government once conducted an experiment to enlarge the human body, and Caesar also participated in this experiment. However, the world government gave up this experiment because the mortality rate was too high. But in Caesar's view, the reason why the experiment failed was that no powerful experimental subject was found. Weibel's size and strong vitality are the best experimental subjects. Although he has now joined the Nether Pirates, Caesar still don't forget his crazy experiments. Surpassing Vegapunk and becoming the world's strongest scientist is Caesar's last obsession. Weibel is already a member of the Netherworld Pirates, not your experimental subject. You have to remember this. Lucifer glanced at Caesar and said lightly,